One Piece: The Legend of Creation, Chapter 121-140. 121 Mutual Benefit. Although he used to be very kind to Kaya, in order to make more money, he also went out early and returned late. He didn't have much time to spend with his daughter. Fortunately, Kaya was very sensible and well-behaved since he was a child, and he never lost his temper. On the contrary, he did his own thing well since he was a child, and arranged everything for himself properly, which saved Kapal a lot of trouble, which is why he loved Kaya, the only daughter, from the bottom of his heart. Just as a businessman, and a businessman who is getting bigger and bigger, once he enters this circle, it is not so easy to get out. Pirates have enemies with each other, and businessmen also have enemies, otherwise Marine will not send people. Protecting Kapal, in addition to guarding against some pirates, is actually guarding against Kapal's enemies. Now that Lu Chengkong is here, he has no worries. It can be said that he quit after quitting. Now all he needs is just do what a good father should do, the obligations and responsibilities that should be fulfilled. Of course, at the same time, it is also to make use of the intelligence capabilities in his hands. The route of resource buying and selling will help Lu Chengkong solve a lot of troubles and gain more convenience. These are too simple for Kapal. For him, as long as Kaya can be safe, a healthy life is enough. Now that Lu Chengkong and others have enough strength to protect her daughter, and there is still this legendary fruit of light, and he has experienced this ability firsthand, then his daughter will definitely grow up healthy and not suffer from any illness. Tortured, coupled with his father doing his responsibilities, his eyes were filled with love for a while. It's absolutely fine. Of course Lu Chengkong agreed to this. After all, everyone has something he is good at, and he needs to make use of what others are good at, but it saves a lot of trouble. It's simple for Pal, but it's not simple at all for Lu Chengkong. As for those Lu Chengkong who killed Kapal and replaced him, he never thought about it. But it is like a mountain, even if you get these intelligence agencies, the sales routes and so on don't have Kapar's strong personal connections, know so many people, and it is not useless if you are familiar with the methods and means of free operation. After all, Lu Chengkong is not a businessman. Many don't. Rather than make it so troublesome, it's better to let an old Xingzhen be completely loyal to him like now. After all, he can see that Kapal is really treating Kaya. It can be said that as long as Kaya is safe, it will be fine. Kapal will definitely do everything for himself and save a lot of unnecessary trouble and effort. As for protecting Kaya, these things are really too simple. With the phone bug to contact at any time, Khalifa and Enel can come back at any time, and in the past, Lu Chengkong let Khalifa live a light on their father and daughter. Energy, as long as it is a critical moment, it will form a shield, as long as it is not an admiral-level strong shot, then there will be no big problem in a short time, and there is enough time for Khalifa or Enel to come. This is the phone bug I got. It's very clear to accept everything. No matter how bad the environment is, it can still be contacted, but if it doesn't sound so clear in some kind of harsh environment. Kapal is also very after all, as long as Lu Chengkong and the others do not die in the future, then his daughter will be able to live in peace without being tortured by illness, and there is no need to worry about safety. For a father, there is nothing more gratifying than such a thing. This thing is not bad. By the way, I have a few more friends. I have some friends who can contact me at any time. Lu Chengkong looked at the special phone bug in his hand and knew that the communication aspect, that is, the signal aspect, was absolutely powerful. The global pass must be awesome, and at the same time thinking of Amazon, Lu Chengkong asked Kapal to get a few in places like Kokoyasi village. Of course, Kapal fully agreed to this. After all, the more people Lu Chengkong knew and the stronger his strength, the happier he would be. Of course, it was impossible to refuse such trivial matters. Then I'll go back first, and the little girl will trouble you in the future. After Kapal finished speaking, he stood up and bowed again to Lu Chengkong and the others. This bow has no interest, but I simply hope that Lu Chengkong and the others will try their best to protect their daughter. Don't worry, as long as we promise you, we will definitely do it well, and I like your daughter very much. Don't get me wrong, this one is the kind of friend, she is not the kind of scheming person. We all like to drink this kind of drink. Simple-minded and straightforward people deal with, so as long as we don't die, your daughter has nothing to worry about, but I suggest you use the wealth resources in your hand to get your daughter a devil fruit. It's better to be stronger. After all, it can don't you feel more at ease if you have the ability to protect yourself. Lu Chengkong said with a smile. I understand this. I have been paying close attention to it, but the illustration of the devil fruit is in Marine's hands. It is not so easy to understand the ability of a fruit and to buy it, so it takes more time. Capel, I also have this idea. Although Lu Chengkong and others will protect him, there will be no accident, but Lu Chengkong is also right. Kaya has his own strength, so isn't he more at ease? Do you think he can be trusted? Enel, who had been eating apples without speaking, suddenly said as soon as Capel left. There are not many people in this world who can be absolutely trusted. It's just that I don't have any conflict of interest with him. Our cooperation has only huge benefits for him and no harm. Our strength and the ability of Khalifa's bright fruit are all very good. He has experienced the torment of illness, but he knows how to do it. How can he have poor vision and judgment with his incomparable strength to beat the weak? Don't worry. Lu Chengkong knew that Enel would treat those who were not accepted by him. They are all very wary, which is also caused by his childhood experiences. And do you think there will be fewer people who have attacked him over the years? But he has not lived so well. This guy is very shrewd. He chose to settle in this small village and the weakest East Blue. The monthly payments to Marine were innumerable. Do you think Marine would let his berry press go wrong when he knew his body was healed? So even without us, he will be fine. What he really values is our development potential and the ability of Khalifa's bright fruit to heal the pain. After all, he did not want his daughter to have this kind of situation after experiencing it once. And we live here for a few days and let Khalifa use the holy light on Kaya a few times to remove impurities and so on from the body, and then inject a holy light into the body. As long as it is not a big problem, she is very healthy, so you think we still need run back. It seems that we have become doctors, but in fact we have paid nothing, at most a few rays of light. Lu Chengkong slowly analyzed his thoughts to Enel. 122 new abilities. It's so cunning. I think you won't starve to death if you don't do business as a pirate like that guy. Enel said vaguely while eating apples of various colors. It's not as exaggerated as you said, but people who have strength are used to solving the problem in the simplest and most direct way, which makes it easy to ignore the importance of their own heads. It is not just that human beings can stand at the top of all things. The reason for strength is wisdom. Although strength is a little more important than wisdom in this world, wisdom is also indispensable for the combination of the two to obtain more nourishment. Lu Chengkong didn't care about Enel's ridicule, but if he meant something, said, I like this sentence. In fact, we are all like this. This is not a good phenomenon. Since God has given us a good head, of course we should use it. Gulina said in agreement. Lackey and Canis even looked at Lu Chengkong with admiration, which made him a little embarrassed. After all, it was normal to have lived in different worlds with different opinions, so there was nothing to be proud of. Okay, let's not talk about this. Canis, you should eat the devil fruit quickly, and see what power it has. Khalifa on the side suddenly said, and she has also accepted this woman who has ideas about Lu Chengkong these days. Lackey's performance of devotion to his duties, coupled with his hard work during training, and his comedy and humility, have made Khalifa impeccable. Anyway, aside from her thoughts on Lu Chengkong, Lackey is definitely a good companion. At least Khalifa is more trustworthy. This is only after living for a short time. If it is longer, it is not impossible to completely trust her. As for her liking for Lu Chengkong, she has already seen it, and she doesn't care as much as before. After all, the strong are always the most attractive, especially handsome, and it is even more rare to treat them like jewels. After all, in Khalifa's eyes Lu Chengkong is the best and most perfect. This kind of thinking is normal. After all, every lover looks at each other's other half, and Lu Chengkong is so powerful that she can't bear it, and she doesn't want to watch it. She couldn't get a satisfactory release to Lu Chengkong, and in any case, she occupied the biggest position in Lu Chengkong's heart. With this kind of thinking, Khalifa didn't have the unpleasantness before when looking at Lackey, but slowly accepted her. How good the man is, how happy she is to marry, and as the first person in the harem, she can't be too stingy, otherwise even if Lu Chengkong doesn't mind, she will feel that she has lost face to Lu Chengkong. If it's just her, she doesn't care what others think of her in her own words, but she will do it even if she is wronged when it comes to Lu Chengkong. Canis, you go first. Lackey is older than Canis, and Canis' straightforward personality makes Lackey treat her as a younger sister. Plus the two women joined at the same time, the relationship between the two of course heated up. Faster. Okay. Canis knew he couldn't hold back, so he casually picked up a fruit in front of him and ate it. Vomit tilde. It's so unpalatable, I don't think there's anything more unpalatable than this. Canis said with a disgusting expression, and everyone who had eaten devil fruit nodded in agreement. Is it really that bad? Lackey, who had never eaten it, thought it was a bit exaggerated, but when she ate the last devil fruit in front of her, she immediately became the same as Canis, and even worse. It's too unpalatable, I suspect that even poop is better than this. As a female warrior of Shandia, she is a little less feminine and more heroic than ordinary women, so she is more talkative than Canis. Much more direct, compared to Canis, the gentle girl who came out of the Jiangnan water town is a little less reserved and a little more daring. Otherwise she would not have caught up with Lu Chengkong because she liked Lu Chengkong, and she was being told in her heart. He didn't flinch after the words. This courage to pursue true love is definitely worthy of appreciation. I think so too. Lu Chengkong, Khalifa, Hancock and others all nodded in agreement. Come on, some devil fruit abilities will appear after 1 minute of consumption, while others will appear in about 5 minutes. Feel the information that suddenly appears in your mind, and then you will know what kind of fruit it is. Lu Chengkong urged. 5 minutes later, the two women opened their closed eyes at the same time. In fact, they could feel it even if they didn't close them, but they wanted to feel it more quickly and clearly, so they could find out the first time. The devil fruit I eat is the fruit of music, or it can be said to be the fruit of sound. Anyone who is fascinated by my music or sound, and who is intoxicated by my music or sound can fall into eternal sleep. Canis took the lead, said. Haha, good, very good, your luck is really good. This fruit ability is just a typical existence for you. As long as you develop the fruit ability more powerfully, the higher your music level will be, combined with your specialty music, that the more powerful each fruit is. Lu Chengkong didn't think that Canis' fruit matched her specialties so much, but he couldn't help but be happy for her. Energy fruit can be used as a thing that consumes energy indefinitely, such as this. Lackey's eyes were full of excitement, and she saw that she put down the box that she had been carrying behind her back, and then took out a pistol-like thing from it. Arms. This is an enhanced and reduced version of the incendiary gun I made based on the principle of the incendiary gun. Before, I was worried about how to solve the problem of his energy. After all, the energy stored after the reduction is enough to be used once, but now all problems can be solved. As long as this gun can withstand the impact of energy, then I can use it indefinitely. Of course, the premise is that I can still use the energy fruit. I just ate it, and now with my fruit ability, I can use it about 3 times at a time. Quote. In order to let everyone know more about her talent and the power of the energy fruit, Lackey brought everyone to the coast. I see clearly. Lackey fired at the sea in front of him with his incendiary gun, and with a puff, a condensed version of blue light was ejected from the gun's muzzle and hit the sea directly. Chee-chee. The sea hit by the blue light suddenly made a harsh sound, and white smoke rose, apparently evaporated by the high temperature. I've seen Khalifa's shining fruit that the holy light turns into a beam of light to attack. Not only the power is much stronger, but also the penetrating power is amazing, so I thought of this method, but I haven't researched it yet. The incendiary gun is used as an energy storage device that can be used more frequently, but it seems that I don't need to worry about these now. In the future, I only need to develop weapons and improve the ability of my energy fruit. I don't need to think about the power consumption of weapons. It's gone, Lackey said with joy on his pretty face. 123 Kaya. If this energy fruit falls on some people who use swordsmanship and physical skills, it can be said to be the most tasteless fruit, but when it falls into the hands of people who use hot weapons such as Usopp and Lackey, it is simply the best devil fruit. Sure enough, there are no garbage devil fruits, only garbage users. Although these words are not all right, they are definitely not all wrong. It just depends on who will fall into the hands of this fruit. It's really good. If these weapons can withstand the damage caused by long-term use, then you really don't need to worry about these. You can even install some tools that can support flight on the pirate ship, and then use your energy fruit to it would be much nicer to provide the energy used to fly. Quote. Lu Chengkong is also a little excited, but the fly in the ointment is that this fruit can only be used as a tool, the energy consumed by the weapon. If the energy brought by the energy fruit can be given to Enel, Guro Guro no Mi, rumble fruit, if you use it to urge it, it will be abnormal. At least his lightning bolt will be higher. Sure enough, no fruit is absolutely perfect from the beginning. Everything depends on the user's talent and understanding to complete the day after tomorrow. Even solved the problems of Canis and Lackey, decided to temporarily stay here for a few days, and at the same time instructed Canis and Lackey's experience in the development and use of fruit abilities. After all, the group here has the worst fruit ability. It is far more than Vice Admiral, and almost all are close to the Admiral level. Therefore, it is not easy to guide two rookies with all their strength, and while guiding each other, everyone pulls out their own experience, and everyone with similar strengths has a great benefit and a refreshing feeling. After all, everyone has their own development. Yishi method to improve fruit ability. If everyone learns from each other, the benefits are naturally very large. Brother Chengkong, thank you. Thank you for saving my father. This day, the blonde lowly Kaya, who was full of energy, trotted to Lu Chengkong, probably because of her poor health, plus the trot. After a while, his face was a little rosy, and he was a little breathless, so his speech was a bit intermittent. It's nothing. If you want to thank the elder sister with the same blonde hair as you, she is the one who saved your father. Lu Chengkong waved his hand to indicate that it was nothing, and at the same time, he extended his finger to the one who was exercising the fruit of light. Khalifa. Yeah, Kaya was stunned for a moment, then suddenly remembered, so she nodded her head vigorously and ran to Khalifa to thank her. Her cute appearance couldn't see the quietness and tranquility of the original book. It was obviously hers. Her father, Kapal, did not die, nor did it cause any blow or sadness to her. On the contrary, she was in a very good mood after her father got rid of the disease. In addition, she has so many people to accompany her now, and her little face is always sweet. Smile. Chengkong, when are you going to leave here? Boa Hancock walked to Lu Chengkong's side with elegant steps and sat down, leaning his head against Lu Chengkong's shoulder, and asked casually. It's almost time to leave. Lackey and Canis are basically familiar with the ability of the fruit. Application. What is lacking now is only the application of the fruit ability to actual combat, and the lack of combat experience. It is time to travel. Lu Chengkong thought for a while, and after calculating the time, he had stayed here for almost half a month, and it was time to leave here. After all, he knew that on the surface they were very beautiful, but in fact they didn't even have a powerhouse at the level of the four emperors. As long as the two admiral pay some price together, Lu Chengkong and others may be wiped out, so they dare not stay in one place for too long, especially East Blue, which is the most strict in Marine's management. After all, that guy Garp often come here. But have you noticed anything missing in our boat? Hancock and Khalifa are the kind of women who are careful and willing to give everything for the man they like, so they can often find more small problems. What? Lu Chengkong asked confusedly. This time he really doesn't know very well. To be honest, what he is best at is fighting. He is really not good at other people. If it wasn't for the cooperation between Hancock and Khalifa, Lu Chengkong would have been able to deal with other problems. maybe this pirate group would have been collapsed. Although we can all cook and taste very good, we are not very good at the combination of nutrients such as what the human body needs. Now many island towns may not be good, but if you are sailing at sea for a long time, there is no good chef. It is very troublesome to talk about the nutrition of various vegetable meal tickets. Even if we have Khalifa's bright fruit, it can avoid all negative effects of the disease, and it can also cure all kinds of ailments, but it is not good for us for a long time. After all, we are not strong enough that we don't need to eat anything. Boa Hancock's words suddenly made Lu Chengkong ponder. It's really troublesome now. I remember that the two people who followed Zorro at the beginning just got sick for a long time because they didn't eat a meal ticket with normal nutrition and even nutrition. Is this really troublesome? Lu Chengkong kept thinking in his heart. He was looking for a solution to the problem, but when he glanced at Hancock unintentionally, he found a sly smile on the corner of her mouth, which was not easy to detect. Lu Chengkong's heart moved immediately, and he immediately understood that Hancock had thought of a solution early in the morning. Just make fun of yourself. If that's the case, then I'll cooperate with you. Lu Chengkong thought a little funny in his heart. He knew very well that Hancock didn't say it at first. It was not the time when he was in trouble, and then he said it to help himself, and then let himself praise her well, and at the same time show how much she has helped Chengkong. Needless to say, she is also having a little struggle with Khalifa. I can't think of what to do. What can you do, Hancock? Lu Chengkong scratched his head and pretended to be distressed, so that Hancock immediately reached out and gently placed Lu on Vivi's wrinkled brows. Chengkong's brows were smoothed, and then he coughed to attract everyone's attention to her, and then said with a light smile. If you have a concubine, you can rest assured. I have already thought about this. Boa Hancock immediately raised his head like a winning hen, glanced secretly, and lowered his head with gritted teeth. Khalifa, like a defeated hen, then spoke her mind. 124 Reappearance of the Beautiful Queen. First of all, as far as I know, East Blue has a sea restaurant where the chef's cooking skills can be ranked first even if you look at the entire Great Waterway, but those are all men, so pass, but now I know that there is a person who is against this. I know a lot about it. Boa Hancock said mysteriously. Then who is it? Lu Chengkong looked at Hancock's mysterious appearance and the schadenfreude smile on the corner of his mouth. His curiosity was really aroused. Of course it's the concubine's apprentice. I didn't know that she was so skilled in cooking before, but during the period of teaching her, the concubine's meals were all handled by her. As a result, I found that the food she cooks not only it is very delicious, and each item is carefully selected. You also know that the transportation in Amazon Island is inconvenient. Basically, those goods and resources are brought back by our 9 snake pirates when we go out, so for when it comes to food, our people don't waste it and they try to make it the best it can be. Quote. Lu Chengkong was a little surprised by Boa Hancock's words. The original work was simple in thought and very emotional, but the female warrior who was just a flash in the pan could actually cook so superbly. But after thinking about it, I think it's normal. In the original book, Boa Hancock became Shichibukai's blatant robbery, and with her charm, a lot of food raw materials came in as long as she opened her mouth, but now Boa Hancock has her own reasons but did nothing to Shichibukai. Amazon Lily Island also does not get the benefits of marine, so it should not be as good as the original in many aspects, and the transportation of things and resources is one of them. And the fact that the original book did not appear does not mean that there is no. After all, anime is always anime, and the description is mostly the protagonist. How can these characters who have appeared a few times be described too much, and the cooking skills are fine? I understand, I kidnapped you before Hancock and made the Amazon Lily Island without the Empress, so no one accepted Marine's Shichibukai invitation. This time, the former Empress of the previous generation has been given a cup for a long time, but you found out that Margaret is actually the chosen one, and the previous emperors will do everything to cultivate her. If I were to kidnap her, then you can imagine the expression of the previous emperors. Lu Chengkong finally understood. Hancock felt ashamed that the people from Amazon Island didn't come to save her, whether in the original book or now, and now had the opportunity to make the old woman angry and depressed. Hancock would not like it, plus Shang Hancock did his best to help Lu Chengkong. With the addition of a strong conqueror Haki, and the help of the next female emperor to the Lu Chengkong pirates, it started to be great, and everything in Amazon Island was basically the same. It was in the hands of Lu Chengkong and others. Obviously, Hancock had done his best to help Lu Chengkong. You guys are really evil. You kidnapped an empress and actually made a plan for another empress, and the empress took the initiative to help you out with advice. Your female predestined relationship is really much stronger than your strength. I will tell you, how did your pirate group appear? There will be so many strong people. It turns out that they have been connected with each other since childhood and then organized together when they grow up. Just when Lu Chengkong was about to ask something, a beautiful and magnetic voice suddenly sounded. It's her. Was it a surprise to Hancock and Enel? Because someone could come to them silently under the cover of their observation Haki, and Lu Chengkong's Li Fa was surprised to hear who the owner of this voice was, although they were all surprised, but surprisingly it was different. Sure enough, it's you. Lu Chengkong's face sank, his eyes suddenly turned pitch black, his body gave off a violent, destroying feeling, a pair of demon wings and two small demon horns on his head suddenly appeared, the momentum climbed higher and higher, and Lu Chengkong suddenly entered the strongest state. Khalifa beside her, the holy light, which was originally golden yellow and full of holiness, has now become full of destruction and destruction. Two holy swords, which are completely condensed from holy light, appear on her left and right hands in a vigilant corner. Looking at the whole woman in front of him. Chengkong, who is she? It was the first time that Hancock saw Lu Chengkong and Khalifa show such serious and vigilant expressions. You must know that neither of them would be like this when facing Admiral, but although she was curious, she also did well. After preparing for the battle, the powerful conqueror Haki burst out at any time when her tender body was ready, and the others saw the appearance of Lu Chengkong and the three of them and got ready for the battle. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while, but I can't think of how fast your strength has improved, especially the two of you. Khalifa, turned out that you were still eating the fruit of light, so you concealed it from me. At the beginning, I thought you were eating the fruit of the restoration system. I didn't expect it to be the legendary fruit of light. It really surprised me. Compared to Lu Chengkong and the others who were waiting in a serious line, the woman in front of him seemed calm and more casual, but her performance made Lu Chengkong and others extremely dignified. People took it seriously and also told Lu Chengkong and others that even if your strength has improved a lot, it is still not enough to see in front of me. She is the woman Khalifa and I taught us before we entered ACF9. Because we didn't know her name, we called her the Beauty Queen in private. Lu Chengkong explained to Hancock and others who didn't know. She's really strong. She's definitely a real powerhouse of the four emperors. Hancock nodded, his pretty face full of seriousness. The gap between the four emperors and Admiral's level is not that big. Take Whitebeard as an example. Even if he is the strongest among the four emperors, he is in his 70s, but his strength is also very terrifying. It can be seen in major events. If it is Whitebeard in his heyday, then the final victory or defeat may not be like the original. Don't be so nervous, Beauty Queen. I didn't expect you two to call me that in private, but this title is indeed worthy of me. That's right, this person is the Beauty Queen who taught Lu Chengkong and the two of them back then. Although Lu Chengkong didn't want to admit it, but neither he nor Khalifa could deny that the Queen of Beauty was very helpful to them. If it wasn't for her to lay the most solid foundation for the two of Lu Chengkong, and to exercise such a superhuman physique and will, plus the best guidance, Lu Chengkong and Khalifa's strength is now at most, which is almost the most than Vice Admiral. She is stronger than herself, so if you don't say anything else, you can see that this woman's strength is very strong from this point alone. 125 Go to war. I am here with 4 news to tell you. 2 are good and 2 are bad. The Beauty Queen giggled before saying. Let's talk about the bad first. Lu Chengkong knew that even a powerhouse like her would never be able to force her to be ordered by the world government. Just like Garp, Sengoku can order 3 admirals, but he will never order Garp. Although there are private individuals here, the reason is because of feelings, but also because of strength, so this woman has not appeared for so many years, and now suddenly appeared and has not found herself. It will definitely not be so simple. Is it bad? Except for Hawkeye, all Shichibukai are basically united to prepare to encircle and suppress you. The beauty queen didn't notice how shocking what she said. You know that every Shichibukai is very arrogant. Just look at Gecko Doll. When they are at a disadvantage in major events, they still refuse Don Quixote Doflamingo's alliance, Gecko Moria absolutely Bartholomew Kuma's alliance. And so on. You can see how arrogant they are and disdain to be with others, join forces and draw on the strength of others. But now these guys who are usually arrogant and their tails are raised to the sky, everyone except Hawkeye has united to encircle the rookie pirates group, Xiaoyao pirates and others. If this incident spreads out, it will definitely shake the sky. Then what about the second bad news? Although Lu Chengkong was surprised and shocked, he didn't have any fear. Whether Khalifa, Hancock or even Lackey Canis were new members of the pirates, there was no fear at all. If you are strong, you must have a person who is not afraid of thousands of mountains and hardships. Even if the sky is broken, you will not allow your heart to be timid and retreat, let alone facing the siege of the enemy, so they are just surprised but not afraid. I've made progress, the heart of the strong, no wonder the strength has improved so fast. I hope you will be so calm after hearing the second bad news. The second bad news is that the world government asked me to kill you guys. I expected it a long time ago. Lu Chengkong and the others did not have the shock expected by the glamorous queen, but said calmly. Cut, it's really boring, so there are 2 more good news for you to listen to. The beauty queen pouted and said very boringly. Waiting for you to say. Lu Chengkong nodded. If he heard the bad, then it was time to listen to the good. At the same time, he put his hand behind him and made a gesture to Enel and the others, indicating that they were ready to shoot at any time. It's very simple, it would be too boring to ask me to kill you. This game will not be fun if it ends all of a sudden, so I will give you a chance. Don't say I bully the small. 5 minutes, as long as you can play in my if you hold it for 5 minutes, then not only will I not kill you this time, but I will also let you grow thoroughly before I will do it to you. So is this a good news? The beauty queen said with a chuckle. Where's the last one? Lu Chengkong breathed a sigh of relief. He wasn't afraid of death, but it didn't mean he wanted to die. Even though it took 5 minutes, it was still very difficult, but there are still people here. Can't survive. As for the last one, let's wait until you survive. If you can't survive for 5 minutes, then the last good news will not exist for you. After the beautiful queen finished speaking, the joking expression on her face was immediately put away and replaced by but it was a cold murderous aura. At the same time, a powerful haki burst out from her body like a 10th level typhoon and swept towards Lu Chengkong and others, and countless cracks appeared in the ground under her feet. Damn, when did Conqueror become a big hit? I've seen so many of them since I went to sea. Isn't there only 1 in a million people? Plus I know the original book and I'm dizzy, isn't it too much? Lu Chengkong's face changed suddenly, although he had guessed that the woman in front of him might also be Conqueror Haki, especially after she said the words that the world government invited her to come. HMPH. Hancock snorted coldly. As the contemporary queen of Amazon Island, her Haki cultivation base, especially Conqueror, is not weak. After all, Conqueror is different from armament and observation Haki. It becomes stronger with the improvement of strength. Now Hancock is an Admiral level powerhouse, then her Conqueror Haki is also Admiral level, and her use of Haki is far more than the same level powerhouse. After all, Amazon Island can exist for so many years, and all the people are Haki users. How can it be? There isn't some esoteric use of Haki. As expected of the Queen of Amazon Island, the Admiral level can actually resist my Haki, but I haven't set all my strength. I hope you can hold on. The beauty queen was a little surprised when she saw Hancock's performance, but she didn't expect Hancock only Admiral's strength was able to resist his Conqueror Haki, but he was only slightly surprised. The already terrifying hockey suddenly came more violently, and the clouds in the sky were blown away. Not only that, with the beauty, the queen's hockey is getting stronger and stronger, and the sky feels like it's about to crack. This phenomenon is completely similar to the scene in the original book when Whitebeard and the red-haired knife are facing each other. Of course, Hancock's strength at this time is still not as good as the red-haired at that time in the original work. Although he lost an arm, the red-haired hockey has a strong cultivation base. It will not be weakened by the loss of the arm, but the aura will become stronger and stronger, so Hancock's hockey at this time is impossible to compare with the red hair at that time. Hey, is there nothing I can do? It really seems to be exposed. Lu Chengkong looked at Hancock, whose face was getting heavier and heavier, and the sweat on his forehead was getting bigger and bigger, and he sighed inwardly. The woman in front of him was a genuine fourth emperor level. The powerhouse, held in her hands for 5 minutes, no need to do anything at all, just releasing hockey is enough to give a headache. No wonder that Whitebeard is so sturdy in the original book. One person can almost block most of Marine's combat power. If he is fighting alone, his body has degenerated, but it is not expensive to clean up any of the 3 admiral. After all, the difference between a duel and a group fight is still very big. It is not a fun thing to be able to concentrate on fighting with all your heart, and to guard against everything around you. His eyes have changed. Could it be that he is also Conqueror Hockey? No, this strange feeling is not possessed by Conqueror Hockey, so what is it? The beauty queen suddenly found that she really couldn't see through this man more and more, right? Lu Chengkong became more and more interested in her. 126 Hockey Showdown. Devil-colored hockey is fully open. Lu Chengkong roared in his heart. The violence in his black eyes became clearer and clearer, and a hockey, completely different from Conqueror Hockey, suddenly appeared on his body and slammed into Mayan like a storm. Queen's Conqueror Hockey. Bang! A crash sounded suddenly. Lu Chengkong's demon-colored hockey and Hancock's Conqueror Hockey completely combined and directly collided with the beauty queen's Conqueror Hockey, rushing straight into the sky like an invisible storm. At this moment, it became more and more obvious. At the end, the sky seemed to be completely split. This strange situation immediately attracted the attention of the people on this island, and they all raised their heads, full of people who responded faster, such as Usopp. Immediately, he brought his own binoculars and stood at a high place to look at Maiden. Sure enough. God, are these really pirates? The sky above them is torn apart. Is this really they did it? What is that? How does that man look like a demon? Wings, could it be his demon? Usopp shuddered and almost screamed when he thought of the demon's usual timidity. Hey, I didn't expect you to have so many cards. In the battle with Kuzan, you didn't use this strange hockey that never appeared. It was hidden deep enough. No wonder Marine wanted to get rid of you before I left. You've changed so much in a while, it's so funny. The beauty queen kept the Conqueror Hockey released, smiling like no one else. Is this a powerhouse at the level of the 4 emperors? It seems that her strength should not be comparable to that of Whitebeard, but she definitely surpasses the redhead. Who is this woman? Lu Chengkong thought in shock. This is the powerhouse of the 4 emperors level. It's terrifying. Just to release hockey, Lu Chengkong and others can only resist if they want to resist. My head is getting heavier and heavier. If it goes on like this, I won't be able to last for 5 minutes. Lu Chengkong only felt that his head was getting heavier and heavier, as if it would take a lot of strength to open his eyes, so Lu Chengkong glanced at Enel behind him. And Khalifa, only he and Hancock in the boat can fight the Conqueror Hockey of the beautiful queen, so it's time for the 2 of them to come out. 200 million volts. Thor. After Lu Chengkong and Hancock blocked hockey of the glamorous queen, Enel shot immediately. Thor. The sun is shining. Khalifa flew out and turned into a small golden sun, bursting with rays of light, but the photons that burst out like sunlight did not burst out, but became more and more solid. In the end, Khalifa wrapped the little sun on Khalifa's body and shrunk into a small ball of light the size of a palm at a speed visible to the naked eye. But the destructive power contained in this tiny little sun like VV, even Admiral dare not despise. This trick is sunlight illuminated condensed compressed version. One is a group attack, the other is a single attack. Judgment of light. Khalifa drank tenderly, the hand in his hand sprayed out at the beautiful queen like a turtle qigong, and the speed of light bombed directly on the beautiful queen, causing Enel on the side to be a step slower but to the naked eye, it doesn't seem to be much slower. Evil ghosts erode. Juliana also pulled out Lakey, and also used her most powerful sword skills. Like countless evil ghosts crawling out of the gate of hell, these evil ghosts all integrated into Julian inside Nas Rachel, and then a terrifying sword she slashed out at the glamorous queen. Combat power of the happy pirates has all used their most powerful tricks Yan Queen, but it is enough to resist. Bang! The hockey duel just now was a kind of spiritual confrontation, and it could also be said to be a battle of habitation, but this time, the golden, yellow, blue, and black 5 kinds of tricks all bombed in one place and then exploded, a huge incomparable like a plum tornado. Generally, the 5-color beam of light rushing into the cloud will completely block the sky that was originally the tearing point. The people who radiate the light on this small island immediately close their eyes because it was too dazzling. After a while, when the storm of energy slowly dissipated, everyone was so tired that they all sat on the ground like dead dogs, while Lackey and Canis, who couldn't help because of their weakness, immediately left. I came here to help everyone, but unfortunately Lu Chengkong entered the demon transformation and used the maximum amount of demon-colored hockey at one time. Originally, the demon-colored hockey consumes a lot of spirit, and the use of demon-colored hockey overdrafts consumes a lot of money. This is not physical exhaustion, but mental exhaustion. How can it be so easy to lift up? As for Khalifa, Enel and others have overdrafted their most powerful tricks and still tried their best to increase the power of these most powerful tricks to the extreme. It can be said that the entire pirate group has real combat effectiveness. Lackey and Canis are left. As for Kaya, where has this little auntie ever seen such a scene? As early as the beginning, Lackey and Canis were pulled to the back by Lackey and Canis, and the beauty queen also disdained to fight a hand without the power the girl who did it, and she was not a member of the happy pirates, there was no need to do anything to her. This woman is so strong, but if she stands there without dodging, she should be able to hurt her, right? Lu Chengkong barely opened his eyelids, looking at the billowing smoke and the huge stream in front of him, he said uncertainly. It's hard to say. Hancock gasped. Using Conqueror hockey for a long time would consume a lot of money. If it didn't cost much, then Whitebeard would release Conqueror hockey for a long time during a big event, then Admiral still use the ability of a fart fruit. Even if faced with so many master, Whitebeard has already killed 3 admirals long ago, that is, Conqueror hockey cannot be used for a long time and consumes a lot of money. Otherwise, the strong with Conqueror hockey do not need to learn observation hockey and armament at all, and they can directly learn to control Conqueror and specialize in Conqueror. Is because Conqueror consumes a lot of money, but armament and observation hockey are not. Moreover, armament and observation hockey consume less and work well. They are also very good when used together, so even the powerhouses of the Whitebeard level are not. Putting down the training of armament and observation hockey is one of the reasons that it helps a lot. The less consumption makes up for the huge consumption of Conqueror, and the most important reason is that it will not affect the combat effectiveness. 127 shocked. Clap clap clap. Suddenly, a burst of crisp applause came from the billowing smoke and dust, and suddenly the smoke and dust around him suddenly disappeared cleanly, and the unharmed body of the beautiful queen came into view. No, impossible. Lu Chengkong's eyes almost didn't come out, but in a flash, he felt that it was right. Looking at Whitebeard, he knew that a person can still be so sturdy in the face of so many strong people. And there are 2 more powerful Sengoku and Garp on the same level as Whitebeard. Although the beauty queen is not as strong as Whitebeard, the Lu Chengkong and others she faces now are not as many as the enemies and powerhouses that Whitebeard faced in the big event. That is, a few people, an Admiral level Hancock, an infinite Lu Chengkong, who is close to the Admiral level, plus 2 Khalifa and Enel, who are far more powerful than Vice Admiral and only slightly worse than Lu Chengkong, finally is a Juliana who is infinitely close to the peak of the swordsman. These 5 people add up to Whitebeard. Faced with Marine, almost all the battle strengths are too far away, and it is normal for the beautiful queen to live in peace and unscathed. There is nothing in the world that is impossible, as long as you can reach that height. Nothing is impossible, you don't have to worry so much. 5 minutes have passed, I really didn't expect you to have something that has never appeared before. The new hockey is really unexpected to me. The beautiful queen always seems to keep a sweet smile on her mouth, but in different situations and different things, the smile on the corner of her mouth will change into various smiles. There are sneers, there are mild smiles and so on. This woman is just like the old urchin in the legend of the Condor heroes. They are all games of life, but one is kind, and the other is dangerous if you make her unhappy and dissatisfied. Lu Chengkong thought to himself. To be honest, although the woman in front of her always said Lu Chengkong was a fun toy, but then she thought that every time she appeared, it was of great help to Lu Chengkong. The first one was to hit Lu Chengkong the most. A solid foundation, superhuman will, and superhuman physique made Lu Chengkong progress so fast. Chengkong because of his recent achievements and the pride and satisfaction brought by the battle with Kuzan. At the same time, he also told Lu Chengkong that he is still very weak now, at least until the 4th emperor. Only at that level can you be satisfied, and now complacency is simply courting death. Hee, it seems that this woman is not as interested in me and Khalifa as she seems. She really helped me a lot. It is precisely because of this idea that Lu Chengkong was not angry with her performance, nor did she feel aggrieved, because no matter what, it is a fact that she is fine. And it is also a fact that the other party has unparalleled help for her. Thinking like this, Lu Chengkong found that he and Khalifa have been continuously gaining a lot of benefits from now on, especially this time hockey's battle has made Lu Chengkong more clearly understand the mystery and power of the devil-colored hockey, and the beneficiary has always been Lu Chengkong. Long Sky. Then can you tell the last good news you said? Lu Chengkong's incomparably strong resilience finally showed its advantages after the news was over. He was not as tired as before, at least he was able to stand up. Recovery really fast. It seems that you have a lot of secrets. What were you and Hancock talking about just now? Queen Zhongyan saw that Lu Chengkong had recovered so quickly and couldn't help but let out a sigh, very profound. Glancing at him, he said. What did Hancock and I just say? Looking for a chef. No way, this woman doesn't want to come to my pirate team to be a chef, does she? She seems to be some kind of CFO. After all, she's from the world government side. Why are you hanging out with pirates now? Lu Chengkong thought back and found that he and Hancock were talking about finding a chef, so Lu Chengkong immediately looked at Mayan with disbelief. The queen wanted to make sure she was wrong. You're not mistaken. I really want to come to your happy pirates to be a chef. Queen Beauty seemed to see through Lu Chengkong's thoughts, and she nodded and admitted without concealing it. I'm dizzy. Not only did Lu Chengkong fall into a sluggish state, but even the others were dumbfounded. They were obviously enemies, so it would make sense not to kill himself and others, but now he actually came to us to be a chef, although a chef is not anything. A low-level occupation, on the contrary, is a very important existence in the pirate world, but for this woman, it is indeed self-depreciating. I said, you are also a member of the world government. You are doing this. Isn't that too much? After a while, Lu Chengkong came back to his senses, stretched out his hand and said. Cut, I'm just working for the world government. I'm not theirs. I can do whatever I want, they can manage it. The beauty queen said disdainfully. Then you don't need to come to my pirate group to be a chef. Anyway, we are also hostile. You won't have any wicked intentions against us, right? Lu Chengkong suddenly said suspiciously. Cut, what can I do with your current strength? The glamorous queen glanced at Lu Chengkong. Indeed, with the current strength of Lu Chengkong and others, and the strength of the opponent's 4 emperors, there is really no need to do anything small. The trick, killing himself and others, is just a very simple matter. Although he knew that the other party would not make any small moves, Lu Chengkong still couldn't accept it for a while. After all, the other party was a ticking time bomb, and now he had to be with her every day. Lu Chengkong didn't want to live such a life together. Then you have to give me a reason. Although your strength is stronger than mine, if it's just that, I will refuse your participation. Lu Chengkong did not feel timid because of the opponent's strength, but said confidently. Then why don't you let me join? If you want strength, I don't think anyone in your pirate group is stronger than me, so my joining will not be a burden to you even if I don't help, and this girl's chef art is a top-level existence. I have even been to All Blue, the Sea of Legends. I think even if I look at the whole world, there are not many people who can compete with my cooking skills. It is your honor to be able to eat this girl's food every day. Pick and choose, the glamorous queen said very unhappily, as if she had been greatly wronged. I said, I've met you no more than 3 times. I don't even know your name. I'm absolutely worried about letting you, a stranger, and someone like a ticking time bomb join my pirate group. Lu Chengkong shook his head and refused again. 128 Porgasti Dana. Boa Hancock, Khalifa and the others saw that the 2 people who had been beaten to death just now were arguing with no one else, and their minds were a little bit overwhelmed, but they were very concerned about Lu Chengkong's direct rejection of this woman's request without fear of power. Satisfaction and admiration. I've met you no more than 3 times. It's fate between you and me. If we don't have fate, it's not useless to be together every day, and what I'm saying is that it's also your and Khalifa's mentor. You just reject someone who is considered your master. Is it? You make me homeless. I don't know if it's an illusion. This time the glamorous queen seems to be a little different from before. Touching, a little more popularity. It used to be simply to be seen from a distance but not to be played with, but now it seems to give people a real feeling. Che, that's what you think. You taught me and Khalifa just to pass the time. Don't think I didn't know it when I was young. I didn't even know your name and let you join. Like my wife, how can I explain it like my crew? Lu Chengkong refused without thinking. Others Liu Bei looked at the cottage 3 times, but Lu Chengkong refused 3 times. HMPH, right. I'll tell you if you don't. If you know my name, then we're not strangers. Did you hear this aunt's name is Portgas D. Dana? Beauty Queen, not Portgas D. Dan. Now Na coughed softly, then read her name aloud. D. Portgas, Dana, why are you so familiar? I'm dizzy. Portgas seems to be the name of the wife of One Piece, King of Pirates, the mother of Ace who has died. Why is this woman also the surname? This woman will not marry. What does Rouge have to do with it? And I've read a lot of fan fiction that seems to say that Luffy's mother is also called Portgas D. This woman can't be Luffy's mother, right? Lu Chengkong was stunned for a while, but he remembered that he was watching it on Earth before. After a lot of speculation and so on, I suddenly think about it. What's the matter? Is there anything strange about Ben Gulu's name? Portgas D. Dana looked at Lu Chengkong, who remained silent after she said her name, and couldn't help it. Can I ask you a question? Lu Chengkong, who was talking eloquently, suddenly seemed to want to ask and didn't dare to ask, which made Portgas D. Dana feel a little bit of curiosity in her heart. It's not quite like you. Didn't you just talk about it? Why did you become a mother-in-law now? Portgas D. Dana said. Because this question affects your reputation a bit, it may be a bit offensive, so I'm embarrassed to say it. Lu Chengkong knew very well that if he didn't say something, it would be very bad for a woman. Ask. Portgas D. Dana was also aroused by Lu Chengkong's curiosity, and waved his hand for Lu Chengkong to ask quickly. Do you have a son? Since Portgas D. Dana had urged herself to hurry up, Lu Chengkong had no choice but to ask. Hey, which one of your eyes sees me like the girl who has given birth to a child as an absolute girl, but although I haven't given birth to a son, if you want to be clear, I do have a son, but how do you know? Portgas D. Dana looked at Lu Chengkong curiously. It's not really Luffy's mother, is it? Wait, she said that she is not a woman who has given birth to a child, but is a girl of yellow flowers. Although she plays in the world, a person like her will never laugh at her reputation. It's necessary to lie to yourself, but since she is a yellow flower girl, she is also an adulteress, so how can she have a son? Lu Chengkong thought with a puzzled look on his face. What's wrong? It's strange. What's so strange? Let me join your pirate team if you want to know. She is a very arrogant person like Henku, but now not only has she put down her body, but she has repeatedly asked to join a rookie pirate group that is not very strong, and it is really confusing that she still wants to be a chef. Ah, it's really all pervasive. Lu Chengkong patted his forehead speechlessly, but he had no choice but to gather all the crew members to hold a meeting and let them decide. After all, if this time Bomb doesn't allow her to come in, she will refuse once or twice. Forget it, but if she still refuses next time, who knows if she will become angry and start killing. If only Lu Chengkong is alone, it may be fine, but now he is the captain. There are so many people in the pirates, including his wife. Friend, possessive, he didn't want to get caught in a whim. Husband, let her join for safety. I think she is just playing on a whim. I don't believe she will live in our pirate group for a long time and even cook for us. Then I will see if she can cook. Boiled, not boiled guntung can justifiably drive her out, and she can't be ashamed to kill us because of it. If she cooks it, it's better. If it's not delicious, we can drive her away as well. Joining is imperative. Quote. Khalifa touched the bridge of his nose. Without the pair of gold-rimmed glasses in the original book, Khalifa's charm has not been weakened, but it is a little less quiet and a little more than the original book. It can only be like this. I really want to break my head and can't understand why she wants to join. It's really strange. Lu Chengkong also felt that it was the only way, so he walked up to Portgas D. Dana and said to her, Then you can tell me. Of course, I have a son who seems to be called Munchie D. Luffy. If I remember correctly, it should be like this. As for the one I said just now, I am a yellow flower girl, because Luffy is my son, but not me. Come out, Portgas Dana explained. What is your son that you didn't give birth to? Could it be that he was born by Munchie D. Dragon and someone else, and you are his adoptive mother? Lu Chengkong asked. No, although he wasn't born to me, he is my son, not someone else's. Hey, I don't even know how to tell you. I'll show it to you once and you'll understand. Portgas D. Dana said that she didn't even know how to explain it, so she stretched out her hands and watched. Lu Chengkong and the others watched, only to see a green light suddenly rise from her pair of pure white jade hands, full of the breath of vitality is coming, different from the bright breath of Khalifa. This breath gives people a life that seems to have passed. This, the breath of life. You didn't eat the fruit of life in Logia, right? Lu Chengkong said in a stunned manner, but after thinking about it, he felt that it was normal. The woman's father is the owner of the fruit of the weather, so old it is not impossible to have the fruit of life. 129 Dana is a virgin. That's right, the devil fruit I eat is one of Logia's top devil fruits, the fruit of life, like Khalifa's bright fruit. Now I think you understand it too. Monkey D. Dragon is the ruler and founder of the Revolutionary Army, so to speak every generation of Munchie D family is a single lineage. Since Dragon is a revolutionary army, he doesn't know when he will die, so he must leave a trace of blood in order to pursue his dream without any scruples. Portgas D. Dan Na was talking about some secrets that didn't appear in One Piece King of Pirates. Then what? Lu Chengkong was also interested, and immediately asked. And what I ate at that time was the fruit of life. Dragon saw my ability, so don't look at me like that. I didn't lie to you when I said that I was a yellow flower girl. He wanted to marry me at the beginning, because if I have his child, then both of us are the owners of Conqueror Hockey, then the child born has a great possibility of using Conqueror. Moreover, I have the fruit of life, and I have a child born in my stomach. Because I have life energy, his vitality is extremely amazing, and his aptitude is also extraordinary, but I don't want to be with someone I don't like, people who have no emotional foundation or together, so I thought of another way. Portgas D. Dana chuckled. I took his blood with one of the abilities of the fruit of life, coupled with the high technology of Marine and the Revolutionary Army. I raised a child for him, which was entirely conceived by me with life energy, so this child, although it wasn't born in my stomach, the vitality is equally astonishing, and even if you use a lot of tricks that overdraw vitality, there will be no big problem. And this child is Munchie D. Luffy, and I am also his mother, so I can say no, because although he has my blood, but after all, it was not born by me, so now I am still a single noble. How about a gossip kid? Satisfy your gossip desire. It's a fantasy, but since I can pass through it, it is not impossible to create a life with the ability of the Fruit of Life and the two major organizations of the Marine Revolutionary Army, and the ability of the Devil Fruit is indeed very powerful. It is powerful, and the Fruit of Life, which is the top Logia fruit, does have this ability. After all, the terrifying and taboo-like ability of Khalifa's light fruit has gradually awakened. Lu Chengkong didn't believe it in his heart at first. After all, as an Earth Chinese, although he is not engaged in biology, he also knows that babies have sex and sex together in the beginning, but now they don't need it. Just the blood of the two people and dragon, plus the hidden technological energy of Marine and the Revolutionary Army. How can you believe Lu Chengkong? But on second thought, it seems that many things in this world cannot be explained by pure science, not to mention that the people who sent themselves to this world have such terrifying abilities. It cannot be explained by science, and the various devil fruit, all kinds of strange and mysterious abilities, are not all that Lu Chengkong can know all by himself, so he soon accepted this fact. Because as the top Logia fruit, he has it, but Khalifa has it. Khalifa told Lu Chengkong that if her Fruit of Light develops to the later stage, it is likely to have the ability to revive the dead, and even resurrect the body and soul together. Brook's Yellow Spring Fruit can also resurrect himself, and even the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, can exist from the dead, so it's no big deal to create a life. Okay, but I'm going to say something ugly. It's you, #quest my pirate group, and your position as a chef. If you don't do well, then I have the right to blast you out. Although Lu Chengkong listened to Portgas D. Dana said that she was very surprised when she went out to the sea area, but with her strength, it was nothing to go there, and if she went there, it did not mean that she would cook. Allah, then you asked me to cook for you. Portgas D. Dana replied heartlessly. So this time Lu Chengkong and others are so miraculous that it is a crisis of no wind and no waves, and a new 4 Emperor-level chef has been added. Although I don't know what her motives are, at least they have survived the disaster now. I really don't know what to do in the days to come, and I don't know whether her arrival is a blessing or a curse. Kaya, we plan to leave here tomorrow. Since Chiwume has found us, I would be too sorry for them if I didn't prepare to meet them. Lu Chengkong took Kaya to the Go-to Kapal's house. As for the others, of course, go back to the pirate ship. What? Brother Chengkong, you're leaving so soon, so Kaya is the only one left. Don't go, okay, stay longer, it's boring to be alone with Kaya. Kaya looked unhappy, said sullenly. Kaya, my brother is a pirate, how could it be possible to stay in this place for too long? I'll meet you by chance, and I didn't say I wouldn't come back. Lu Chengkong was right, his departure was only temporary, he didn't say that he wouldn't come back, just that Kapal was here and he was going to come back. Then can you take me with you? Kaya pursed her lips when she saw that her tried and tested coquettish failed this time, but she thought that she could follow along, so she immediately said her thoughts. Bring you with me, I don't care if your father is willing to let people go, and Kaya, although my pirate group has no rules, I can't just bring a person who has no ability. What talent do you have? Although Lu Chengkong was a little different, he thought of Kaya's constitution, which was inferior to ordinary people, and because he didn't seem to have any specialties, he couldn't agree to it immediately. Kaya is stumped now. She has been a daughter of daughters since she was a child, and the constitution is poor, so she can have whatever she wants, even if she asks herself to do housework or something. Kapal and May profits are also not allowed. Tell me when you think about it, or wait until you have something to learn, something that will help us. Then you can use the phone bug to contact us. Don't you have a personal phone bug? You can contact me at any time. If it is really helpful to us, and little Kaya really becomes a talent, then at the speed of your sister Khalifa, I can come back here to find you. At this time, Lu Chengkong didn't expect it at all because he said a sentence at this time. Then next time I meet Kaya, Kaya really has what he needs to impress him. 130 Shichibukai Gathering. Triller Bark, in the Devil's Triangle of the Great Root has gathered a lot of people who are absolutely powerful outside, but now these people are all gathered to discuss such a matter. Sand Crocodile, the happy pirates don't seem to have any conflict of interest with us, right? It seems that their captain was seriously injured when he was a child, right? Now you actually want to pull us into the water for this reason. Said to the Sand Crocodile in front of him in a schadenfreude tone. Really? Don't tell me you don't know the power of the Fruit of Light. They are just a new pirate group. They are so powerful. Do you think that at this speed, there will be several pirate groups that can compete with them on the Great Route? There is no guarantee that you will not conflict with them at that time, and more importantly, don't tell me that you are not afraid of the ability of the Fruit of Light, and do you really serve the world government wholeheartedly? When the time comes, the world government will let us Kibume deal with them. Can you refuse? To refuse is to face the world government's annihilation. Don't we refuse to kill them with our single strength? The world government began to want us Kibume and them to lose both, and then they came to take advantage. Shot Crocodile's scar was uncovered in person, although his face was very gloomy, but as an excellent strategist, he showed his calmness vividly, and the analysis made Kibume who was present silent. Yeah, although this guy wants to use us as spearmen to avenge him, but sooner or later the Marine headquarters will let us kill this easy pirates. This new pirate group actually has admiral-level combat power, although it is a freshman that is a very strong comprehensive strength, and it is impossible for me to destroy them by myself. Quote. At this moment, Chiwume's heart is full of associations. Every pirate who becomes Chiwume is arrogant and disdain for others to join forces, but it does not mean that they will be like this all their lives. If they encounter something they can't solve, it's not impossible for things to come together. And they are not really Marine's lackeys, but they all use the name of Kibume and the benefits given by Marine to fill their own thoughts and wishes. They are all big pirate-level existences, so what about their brains? It will be bad. Sand Crocodile is right. Now the pirates in the New World have basically calmed down, and their use value of Chiwume is getting less and less, and Marine will definitely let them face this increasingly powerful and threatening happy pirates the regiment. If they don't go, they will be wiped out. If they go, they will probably lose both, and Marine will take advantage of them and kill them all at once. HMPH, even if you know what I'm thinking, don't you guys have to be me as a gunman? Sand Crocodile once again showed his strategy as a strategist to the fullest. Even if the other party knew what he was thinking, he just dug a hole and waited for them to jump, but they had to jump. Moria, don't you want to get their shadows? After abolishing them, the shadows of them are yours. Sand Crocodile saw that the scene had basically been mastered by himself, so he immediately added a fire. Okay, I promise you. Gecko Moria, who wanted to get the shadows of Lu Chengkong and others, agreed immediately. His eyes were full of greed and hatred. Hatred was hatred for Kaido, one of the 4 emperors. Greed certainly wanted to get it. The shadows of Lu Chengkong and others disappeared. Meisha Jibal, as far as I know, they killed all of you fishman, in Dongmai. Seeing that a sand crocodile was secured, he immediately transferred the target Meisha Jibal, that is, Jinbei. HMPH, they are all scum in Fishman, especially that Arlong. Did he kill fewer innocent people? The old man knows that he spared Hachi. He just killed those scum in Fishman. There is garbage in human beings. Fishman is killing all the murderers with the same release. Hachi has not killed any innocent people, but he let Hachi go, and wants to provoke the old man to fight with them. This alone is not enough. Jinbei said very calmly, worthy of being the leader of the clan, and this attitude alone is not comparable to Gecko Moria. But as the boss of Fishman, since he killed Fishman anyway, I have to look for him, but don't look for me when they encircle them, the old man will look for him in person. After saying that, Jinbei left directly. He doesn't give Sand Crocodile any face at all, but his bearing is indeed extraordinary. As the boss, he doesn't care whether his people are wrong or not. Since he was killed, he has the responsibility to find the person who killed Fishman, so the battle with Lu Chengkong was indispensable, but he was disdainful to participate in such a siege of them. Damn, if it wasn't for Whitebeard to cover you, your Fishman would have been extinct long ago. Sand Crocodile roared with gnashing teeth in his heart. Count me in, Bartholomew Kuma said suddenly and agreed directly, but it didn't surprise anyone, because they didn't know Bartholomew Kuma's true identity, so they all thought that Bartholomew Kuma was the only one who was willing to obey the world government. Chi Wume was not surprised by his promise to Sand Crocodile and others. Since you've all gone, then I'll go too. Don Quixote Doflamingo knew that he couldn't do it if he didn't go. If he didn't go, the 3 people present might not let him go, and he might even join forces to keep him. In addition, he also wanted to kill the happy pirates in his heart. After all, the threat was too great. Then I will tell the Marine headquarters about this matter. When the time comes, they will set a route for us, and we will leave them on the road they must pass. Bartholomew Kuma saw that the matter had been decided. He immediately left Gecko Moria's ship, and Don Quixote Doflamingo saw that the matter was basically decided and went back to prepare. After all, each of them had their own power. They knew very well the strength of the 4 of them alone is not enough to encircle the Xiaoyao pirates this time, and it is very likely that they will be destroyed by the anti-group, so they have to go back and organize their own forces. After all, they are all people with brains. If the 4 of them go there, they are likely to be taken advantage of when they both lose. It is better to sacrifice their subordinates than to sacrifice themselves. For them, human life is the least valuable, and with 7 it is too easy for Wu Mei's status and power to regain the combat power that has been consumed, so an encirclement and suppression of Lu Chengkong and his party from the Happy Pirates officially began. 131 Dana's cooking. Since we know that they will ambush us somewhere in the sky, why don't we hide and destroy them one by one? As a female warrior of the Shandia, Lackey's fighting mind is also very good. Which one can become? Chiwume is a simple and easy person. If we hide and destroy one by one, then the others will definitely be fully prepared or even hidden. Since this is the case, it is better to solve them all at once. And do you think that we can hide now that we can hide? Lu Chengkong patted Lackey's shoulder a little funny. Why does Marine's bounty often get the pirate's sting, intelligence or fruit ability right after the incident happens and no one knows about it? Lu Chengkong asked. Are you saying that we are being watched by Marine all the time? Lackey's expression changed. She immediately understood what Lu Chengkong was saying, picked up the ultra-long-distance telescope she made and looked at all 4 sides, front, back, left, right, and left. Nothing out of the ordinary. Look at the sky. Lu Chengkong pointed at the blue sky and white clouds above. What is that? Lackey immediately took the telescope and looked up. She was worried about what kind of tiny monitor Marine was using, so she put an amplifier on the telescope, and found that there was something similar in the sky. There is a small machine like a camera. Of course it's the Marine thing that Marine's surveillance focuses on. We also have one, so every battle we have is watched. Otherwise I used to use the fruit ability in the Ennie's lobby, and I wouldn't have to find a lot of dense forests. That's why I didn't use the fruit ability when I fought Sand Crocodile for the first time. Lu Chengkong knew these things when he watched the anime, and if it was Whitebeard, there might be a lot of sky. Then our battle with that woman was also seen by that thing. Canis said a little worriedly. After all, the battle with Portgas de Dana Lu Chengkong and his party exposed a lot of trump cards. If they were seen clearly, isn't it dangerous then? That thing is not as powerful as you think. The images he can see are very blurry. If he can see so clearly in such a high sky, Marine has such a technological ability to destroy the pirates. When we landed and found a hidden place to take pictures, plus the aftermath of the last time we fought was so terrifying, you think that thing can see clearly? Lu Chengkong was not worried at all. Instead he signaled to let Canis, and the others were relieved. That's okay. Lackey, Canis, and the other newcomers breathed a sigh of relief, and Lu Chengkong's heart couldn't help swaying because of their cute appearance. Anyway, they are aware of our route, so there is no need to hide it. just find a place where we can let go of our hands and feet to fight and wait for them. Lu Chengkong said his thoughts. Then where are you going? Asked Bodana, who had been cooking in the kitchen without speaking. Alabasta, this time I suspect that the sand crocodile guy came up with it. Since there is his base camp, I will wait for him there. I can beat him when I am young. Now I have grown up, he is a loser in front of me. Lu Chengkong snorted coldly. The feeling of being tricked is not good, but if it is used properly, it is not a bad thing to solve all the troubles at once. It is not a comfortable thing for a strategist to keep calculating himself in the dark. You're so confident, I hope you won't be overconfident by then. Portgas D, Dana, and Isho, without saying anything, she shrank her head back to continue cooking, but when it comes to cooking, Lu Chengkong and others have been eating her for the past few days. It was so cooked that Lu Chengkong and the others almost ate all their tongues. Lu Chengkong has been to many places over the years, even the Meisheng restaurant in Dongmai Shangjishi, but these foods were cooked by Portgas D. Dana. Compared to the difference between heaven and earth, it is really delicious. Let Lu Chengkong and others choose to send her away after eating the food she cooked, but now there is no way to do it. After all, the food she cooks is really delicious, and every day is a new style. No one is repeated, so they can only accept the fact that a time bomb lives around them for the time being. Don't worry, I've made a lot of weapons. Now I don't have to worry about the energy problem. Although I can't help, I will definitely not be a burden. Lackey said confidently, as if she was hiding some powerful weapons. As for Canis, because it wasn't long after eating the devil fruit, even if someone with strong strength unreservedly guides her, there is a limit to how she can improve in a short period of time. He has become a top expert, so Lu Chengkong and others plan to leave a high-level hand here to guard Canis. At the same time, adding more and more guns and weapons on board, it should be no problem to be controlled by Lackey. Therefore, everyone in the Happy Pirates is fully prepared for this battle, but there is one thing that is bothering them now, and that is who protects the people on the ship. After all, if Lackey has no worries, he will fully control the ship. Her weapon, coupled with her energy fruit, can completely suppress huge firepower in a short period of time, and Canis can also play a little harassment while using her abilities, especially in the face of weak gangsters. I want to prepare Lei Ying as the trump card, so I have no choice. Enel immediately shook his head and refused. After all, he didn't want to let go of such a good opportunity, and he was also telling the truth. After all, in the original book, although Lei Ying hadn't released it, the huge thunder ball was terrifying at first glance. It was used as a trump card to make a comeback, and he had never fought well since he came to Ohm. The militant blood has long since protested to her countless times. Okay, seeing you guys pushing around, how can I say that I'm also the cook of this ship? Then I'll make sure the safety of these two little girls, but don't expect me to help you, yourself. The matter will be resolved by myself. Portgas D. Dana looked at Lu Chengkong and the others. And you pushed me to let me go. I don't know if she was in a good mood, but she agreed directly. Okay, Lu Chengkong and the others said in unison. This was the first time they found out that Portgas D. Dana was such a good person. 132 Shichibukai, S. Ambush. It's been many years, I really miss it. Back then, we used a little trick and luck in this country to beat Crocodile seriously, and even nearly killed him. When Lu Chengkong set foot in this country again, he immediately discovered that the coverage area of the oasis is getting smaller and smaller, and the desert is getting more and more. According to this development speed, it will definitely become a huge desert when the original book is reached. Yeah, I still remember when those guys in CP9 were scared to death when they heard that they were going to face Chiwume. Khalifa leaned on Lu Chengkong's side, and Hancock hugged Lu Chengkong's two arms with one hand hold. His face is also a little nostalgic. The puppies of the world government, come out, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Not long after Lu Chengkong landed, he shouted with emotion. How did you know? Lu Chengkong's voice fell, and a whirlwind suddenly swept up the originally peaceful sand, and a crack suddenly opened in the endless sand, and many people walked out one after another. It was Shichibume who participated in this operation. It's hard for me to explain it to you based on your IQ. Since it is an enemy and it is the land of life and death, Lu Chenggong doesn't care about stimulating the sand crocodile more. You. Sha Crocodile's face turned blue and then white. No matter what he said, he was also a strong man who has been around for many years, and he is also Chiwume. The most important thing is that his wisdom and strategy are in the 7th place. Wu Mei ranked first among peers, but now Lu Chenggong, who was just a yellow-haired boy in his eyes, actually said that to him. And I remember that I defeated you when I debuted for the first time when I was a child. At that time, you seemed to be running away like a dead dog. How can a little person like you deserve me to explain to you? Lu Chenggong kept challenging sand crocodile limits. The teeth are sharp and the mouth is sharp. I will drain the water in your body a little bit, so that you can experience the taste of life rather than death. Facing the strange eyes of the people nearby, although this matter it's a fact, and many people know it, but being told in person immediately made sand crocodile angry. Do you have this strength? Lu Chenggong said mockingly, stepping out with a single step. A demon-like aura with a violent, destructive aura descended directly on everyone in front of him, and some weak ones couldn't resist Lu Chenggong Haki. Pirates were all terrified to find that they had lost all control over their bodies, brains, etc., as if they were like a living dead. They wanted to call for help but couldn't. What is this Haki? The faces of the 4 Shichibume, Sand Crocodile, Bartholomew Kuma, Don Quixote da Flamingo, and Gecko Moria changed dramatically. It was the first time they met this kind of Haki. Everything was out of control, but they were all Chiwume, and it was not that they had not faced Haki for the first time, so they quickly stabilized their minds and joined forces to resist Lu Chenggong's demon-colored Haki. Haha, is this the so-called Chiwume? With such a little strength, it seems that I am just a newcomer. My Haki alone needs 4 of you to resist, but think about it, if you are strong, a powerful dog of the world government, a poor bastard who can't stand up after being defeated by Kaido, a waste material who can only use fruit power, a garbage who doesn't know whether it is a pirate or a businessman. The last one, he surface the dog is the government's dog, but the owner is another. Lu Chenggong's naked contempt, disdainful voice and what he said, the secrets or scars that were revealed made their faces change greatly, so they immediately shouted and let the pirates behind them take action. He didn't dare to tell Lu Chenggong anymore, and at the same time they were very surprised by Lu Chenggong's words, especially Bartholomew Kuma. His secret would be known by others, and it was terrifying to be known by someone with no background. Will the cannon fodder consume our physical strength first? The idea is good, but you are not worthy of being a talented captain. You should continue to be the dog of the world government, Enel. Lu Chenggong looked at Cheng, who rushed towards him and the others. Hundreds of thousands of pirates, each with the strength of Dongmai, can become a strong existence, but in the Great Route, places like the New World can only become the existence of ants and cannon fodder. A reptile, trembling under the glory of God, be afraid, dare to challenge God's virginity. If it ends, it will be death, 30 million volts. Thunderbird. If it wasn't for Lu Chenggong, he would have taken action immediately. Now that he heard that he could finally make a move, after holding back for so long, when he came out. It was a unique move. The huge Thunderbird formed from above him and bombed the group of pirates in front of him. Damn, Sand Crocodile, why didn't you say that there will be 2 Logia fruit power users in their pirate group, and they are Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. Don Quixote da Flamingo's face sank. No more wretched, sinister smiles, and after Enel showed Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, he knew in his heart that this action could change dramatically. Cut, the world government can't find it out. You think I can find it out, and besides, we are all long-established strongmen. Is it because a person with the ability of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, shrinks back? Sand Crocodile knew that he had to stabilize the military, so he immediately satirized Don Quixote da Flamingo. Hey, you don't need to provoke me. Since we are here this time, the 2 sides have become mortal enemies. I don't want to be beaten by such a group of people. Don Quixote da Flamingo said very unhappily, and at the same time his right hand moved quietly. An invisible line, the sharp silk thread, quietly flew towards Canis and Lackey on the pirate ship. Obviously, he wanted to take the weakest as a hostage. Even if it could not play a decisive role, it would be a good blow to the opponent's morale. It's a pity his idea it is destined to be only a fantasy. Snapped. A crisp and pleasant sound suddenly sounded from the boat. Portgas de Dana appeared in front of Canis at some point, and said with a displeased expression, "I didn't want to shoot, why did you force me?" There are also high hands. Don Quixote Doflamingo's face was even more ugly. He could see his ability in such a chaotic situation, and he could crack it with a wave of his hand. He immediately knew that there were high hands on board. And still more powerful. Damn, I was tricked into the water by the bastard sand crocodile. Where is this newcomer? It's just a hungry wolf. Damn, if these pirates go to the New World to work hard and survive, they will definitely become the existence of the 4 emperors. Damn, I actually offended me. These guys. Don Quixote Doflamingo regretted to death now. If he could go back in time, he would definitely reject the sand crocodile, and he would beat the other party severely, but unfortunately everything has now become a reality. 133 Fighting for Shichibukai. As expected of a hooligan of the sea, he can do anything to the extreme. The hooligan is not scary, but the most terrifying thing is that the hooligan has culture. Liu Chengkong knew that Don Quixote Doflamingo had made a move. I am also relieved, although this woman likes to play with everything except herself, but her arrogance said it. Tongue will definitely do it, so Liu Chengkong doesn't need to worry anymore. The guy with the wretched smile and the sunglasses was handed over to the concubine, and the concubine looked at him very uncomfortable. Boa Hancock's pretty face was frosty, and he took the initiative to choose his opponent. Leave the sand crocodile to me. Khalifa glanced at the enemy on the opposite side, and finally chose the old opponent, Logia to Logia, but unfortunately the Khalifa at this time is no longer the Khalifa that had just developed the fruit ability many years ago. At this time, the development of Khalifa's bright fruit is completely worse than that of the sand crocodile. I want the guy with the ugly bat face. Enel was afraid that his opponent would be robbed and immediately chose Gecko Moria. That bear is mine. Liu Chengkong realized that he really had no choice, and when he saw Juliana, who was on the side, he was about to speak out and said immediately. Bastard, you all chose for Chiwume, so what should I choose? Juliana said with a look of resentment. Che, haven't you seen so many pirates in front of you? Chichibume, especially Don Quixote Doflamingo, has the most pirates in his hands. 1 or 2 may be nothing to you, but there are dozens and hundreds of them. What? This arduous task will be handed over to you, it will be a challenge for you, and we will meet again. Liu Chengkong was worried that Juliana would be chasing after him, and immediately used shaving to leave. I'm going to clean up those guys too. Hancock, Khalifa, Enel and the others said in unison when they saw Gulena turning their eyes to themselves. One left at the speed of light, one at lightning speed, and the last one also used shaving. Bastard, I will never let you go when this battle is over. At this moment, Gulena only felt as if she had been abandoned by the whole world. She was extremely upset, and she immediately pulled out Lakey and rushed in front of her. The pirates were killed in a big way. It's really boring, can't your strength be stronger? Khalifa strolled leisurely in the desert. With the speed of light, he disappeared suddenly at critical moments, even if there was an increase in natural places above the desert, but the sand crocodile's attack still couldn't hurt Khalifa, not even a single hair. Damn, I knew at that time that this woman is extremely difficult to kill when she grows up. Damn it, but I didn't expect it to be so tricky. This woman actually possesses all the abilities of the glint glint fruit of Kizaru. Hey, glint glint fruit is also a branch of glint fruit. Sand crocodile's face was gloomy and terrifying, almost dripping water, but he had no way to do it. He had a field advantage, but Khalifa has an absolute speed advantage, and he doesn't use it at all. Elementalization, just use the speed of light to move out of the way at critical moments. It's time for you to fight for so long, the light of judgment. Khalifa's eyes flashed coldly. It can be said that Khalifa is completely the nemesis of Sand Crocodile. If Sand Crocodile could use Haki, then it would not be so passive. It's a pity it's just that the fruit ability is simply used. Once he faces the person who restrains his ability, he will be very passive, and it can even be said that he has no resistance. Damn, Quicksand Storm. It's just passive to passive. Crocodile didn't think about the ability to fight against the Fruit of Light after he was defeated, but without observation Haki, he couldn't predict Khalifa's attack at all, so he could only be in a hurry. I used a trick that was not used in the original book. Although his body was hit by the light of judgment and couldn't be elementalized, was blasted away by the powerful impact force, and was burned by the fiery holy light, but it did not mean that he could not use the ability. The light of judgment was only able to hit the ability of elementalization. However, he couldn't seal the fruit's ability, so the moment he was hit, he also used an extremely large-scale trick. With a loud bang, the desert beneath his feet shook like a roar of plum blossoms, and then another wave of tired sand waves attacked Khalifa. Hee, it's still not enough. Rangkyaku Tempest Kick Photon Laser. Khalifa stood on the spot this time without using the speed of light to move, but kicked directly at the rolling sand waves, not a blue-white vacuum slash. Instead, it was a golden laser that contained bright energy full of scorching temperature, directly piercing the sand stream in front of it through a huge hole, and very skillfully cracked the terrifying sand wave like a natural disaster. With a bit of a face, what my husband said is indeed the most correct. My Fruit of Light is going to take this route in attack, and then generate a large-scale attack. Crocodile, you are still far behind. Khalifa thought disdainfully. Dao, at this moment, when Khalifa is facing the Logia fruit ability that is not the top level, if the opponent is just a strong person who simply relies on ability, then he is absolutely disdainful of all these existences, so it is obvious that Crocodile's strength is not weak. Wu Mei is definitely not the bottom of the existence, but Khalifa is crushed to death as the reason. Also suppressing Kibume is Boa Hancock. The three-color Haki simply use the observation Haki, and then coupled with the fruit ability, it has steadily suppressed the gangster Don Quixote Doflamingo. Does Kibume have this kind of strength? If that's the case, then Empress should be thankful that they didn't accept Kibume's invitation. Boa Hancock completely ignores the already embarrassed Don Quixote Doflamingo in front of him. This is not because Hancock despised his opponent, but because the gap in strength is too great. After all, Hancock has not been in vain over the years. So fast, didn't Hancock improve? Even Kuzan said that if Admiral fights alone, the possibility of losing to Hancock is very high, and this is still a guess if Hancock has not shot. If he has really seen Hancock's strength, then Kuzan would not dare to say this. The most important thing is that Boa Hancock had a pure Haki contest with Portgas D. Dana, who is also a conqueror Haki several times stronger than the four emperors. Although he lost, he was still proud. She has also made great progress in Haki's cultivation, so she is also destined to be the cup of Don Quixote Doflamingo. 134 Pack 1 Up. This woman is too strong, and the bounty also says she has conqueror Haki. Damn, how could I be so unlucky to be chosen by her as my opponent? Don Quixote Doflamingo thought with tears in his heart, while seeing Hancock the arrow of love turned into an arrow of love immediately used his fruit ability, and controlled several nearby pirates as his shield. HMPH, this method can also be used. It really is inferior to pigs and dogs. No wonder it can only be the dog of the world government. De Doflamingo's subordinates, as the captain, actually use the lives of his crew in exchange for himself, which is simply something inferior to pigs and dogs, and Hancock's attack is even more ruthless. The Arrow of Extinction. I saw Boancock's face sank, and the powerful conqueror Haki immediately burst out from her delicate body and directly enveloped Don Quixote Doflamingo's body, making Don Quixote Doflamingo unable to demonstrate his ability, and at the same time Hancock's cultivation base was not weaker than conqueror Haki's observation Haki, who immediately predicted Don Quixote Doflamingo's next move and attack. Cut, even if you can also use Haki, what if you use observation Haki to predict Empress's attack? Stupid. In the same situation as observation hockey, the winner depends on whose observation hockey is stronger and hears more voices. You predicted Empress's first attack, but unfortunately Empress predicted your third move. You can die. The corner of Bo Hancock's mouth turned to Vivi, full of disdain. It can be said that she calls herself a concubine when it comes to her enemies. Only when she is facing Lu Chengkong and Khalifa will she call herself a concubine. This is to show her status, her nobility. She is a high-ranking queen who cannot be desecrated. The only enemy who can become an enemy is death. She fully despises the enemy strategically, and takes the enemy seriously in her heart. It is a pity that the May hooligan in front of her is not worthy of Hancock's attention in terms of strength or moral performance. She even accepts the qualifications of the opponent. None. In Hancock's mind, he is inferior to pigs and dogs. Boa Hancock condensed a bow like a love in his hand, and then an arrow full of destructive aura suddenly formed. Armament hockey was attached to it, but Hancock did not shoot at Don Quixote da Flamingo, but instead it was shot behind Don Quixote da Flamingo. As soon as a strange scene appeared, I saw that Don Quixote da Flamingo, who could not dodge, was able to dodge Boa Hancock's arrow, but the strange thing was that da Flamingo jumped backwards with Boa Hancock's arrow step, which resulted in a hit. How is it possible? I have already foreseen your attack. Don Quixote da Flamingo said with disbelief. In fact, he didn't know it when he didn't jump up together, just he still couldn't believe that he would be defeated so easily. In fact, she was not wronged. Then observation hockey, compared to Hancock. Among the hockey powerhouses at the same level, no one would foolishly compare with the people of Amazon Island, let alone the Empress. Comparing her with hockey is simply courting death, not to mention the fact that the two hockeys are so far apart. Fruit ability to control Boa Hancock. Don't laugh at people, cheat cracking, or conqueror hockey coverage cracking, then the fruit ability is useless to the Empress. Hockey competition is even more incomparable, the fighting technique is also very different, the rhythm of the battle is completely in Hancock's grasp. Don Quixote da Flamingo is simply being manipulated by Boa Hancock. HMPH, you saw my next attack, but my next 3 attacks, do you think you can dodge it? Boa Hancock snorted coldly. Cough cough. Don't be complacent, I eat puppet fruit. I admit that my strength is not your opponent, but it is not so easy for you to kill me. Ha. I, Don Quixote da Flamingo, can fight for so long in the Great Waterway. It's not just pure strength that gets so moisturizing, it's also here. Don Quixote da Flamingo's body actually began to petrify, but just when he was completely petrified, his body actually began to become illusory and finally disappeared. Lost. Puppet fruit. Is this his puppet? You can't kill him without finding out his body, but a hooligan is a hooligan after all. If you don't even have the courage to face each other, no matter how strong you are, it's useless. After all, you can't stand on the stage. Boa Hancock was not angry when he saw Don Quixote da Flamingo escaped, and his tone was full of disdain from the beginning to the end. If Lu Chengkong saw Don Quixote da Flamingo's appearance and his fruit ability at this time, he would definitely understand. No wonder he dared to challenge Whitebeard in the big event. It turned out that it was not his body at all, but a puppet that could play the same role as his body, so even if he was killed, it was nothing. At most, the dead body of the puppet was attacked. You can fully recover after a period of rest. Just when Boa Hancock solved a Kibume quickly and incomparably, the battle between Enel and Gecko Moria on the other side was in full swing. The original Enel was a pure fruit ability, although there was observation hockey as an assistant. However, his physical skills are poor. If he is poor in hockey, once he faces the strong hockey, it will be a tragedy, but now after following Lu Chengkong and others to cultivate, his progress in the past few years is amazing. He is a thunderbolt himself. When cultivating, he went crazy and stimulated his body cells, internal organs, and constantly strengthened his body. The speed of physical skill improvement was no worse than Lu Chengkong, Hancock and others, or even better. So just a few years later, Enel was completely reborn. If he were to face Luffy, he would be able to K0 Luffy in one round. He also learned Rokushiki and used the fruit ability to use it with great power. Damn, even though this is not a light fruit person, it is also Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble fruit. Damn, it's only the ability under those legendary fruits, but if you can get his shadow, fusion if it's Oz, then I won't be afraid of Kaido. Gecko Moria didn't bring zombies this time, and simply used his abilities to fight against Enel. Gaga, this is the strength of your Chiwume. I thought how strong it could be, is it this level? 60 million volts. Discharge. The terrifying thunder and lightning were continuously thrown to Gecko Moria, which made Gecko Moria overwhelmed and could only passively defend. 135 lightning strikes Moria. This lunatic, the fruit ability is infinitely close to the level of Admiral. Oh my god, when were there so many strong people, but Moria, are not easy to bully. It's true that he likes to rely on other people's strength, but often when a crisis comes, people's potential is unleashed, unless he wants to die, and so does Moria. Shadow Box. Moria's shadow suddenly flew out, and Moria, who had no shadow as a defense, was immediately struck by lightning, but Moria, who should have been baptized by lightning at the moment of being struck by lightning, turned into a shadow. Obviously he switched positions with the shadow, and at the same time, the shadow after being hit seemed to have nothing to do with turning into a huge box forcibly trapping Enel. HMPH, Elementalization. It's just that Enel is not Luffy, he is a real Logia fruit power user, how can he be trapped, and his lightning speed is only under the speed of light of Kizaru and Khalifa, with his even stronger than Hancock. Observation Haki was too easy to predict Gecko Moria's attack, so he avoided Gecko Moria's attack with ease. HMPH, Shadow Revolution. Moria is someone who can fight Kaido, one of the four emperors. Although he lost, he has his own way of facing Haki, and maybe no one knows, Gecko Moria is also capable of Haki. But compared to his fruit ability, his Haki level is far worse, but it still makes him less passive and helpless when facing Logia fruit ability. Enter my shadow. Change the shape of the main body. It's a pity that your speed is too slow, brother LJ. Lei Shan. Enel is no longer simply using his own fruit ability, and the Shadow Mage is about to enter the shadow of Enel. Enel immediately used his unique ability. Obviously, he developed a unique Rokushiki shaver based on his fruit ability. There are not many people who can improve the shaver inside Rokushiki. Even Rob Lucci just shaved the inside of Rokushiki. It has become a razor that is no longer a simple movement ability, but has an attack ability. Of course, this is only the original work. Now, in this real world, because of the arrival of Liu Chengkong and others, will Rob Lucci have new abilities, and whether he can develop his own enhanced and optimized version of shaving is also unknown. After all, because of Liu Chengkong's influence many people have undergone great changes, not to mention Hancock, Khalifa and others are the best examples. But now Hancock, Liu Chengkong, Khalifa, and Enel have all developed enhanced and optimized versions of shaving. Liu Chengkong's is shaving, muffler and the explosive step developed by combining the return of life. Khalifa's is shaving. Blinking, Boa Hancock's shaving lotus step, and Enel's unique step came out. It's so fast. Gecko Moria's huge eyes and pupils shrank suddenly, but his observation Haki could still predict it. But before the duel with Kaido, one of the four emperors, Moria had a chin and was strong, but later because of he ate, slept and ate every day on the horror ship, and gained weight, and then he became the shape of onion and wine belly, so he is now the same as Enel when he faced Khalifa. He predicted the attack of the other party but his body reacted. But come. Let you taste the stunt of the god, Shigen finger pistol. Thunder and lightning. Enel roared, and all the other fingers of his right hand were retracted, leaving one index finger, with electric light flashing on it. After experiencing the Battle of Khalifa, he also understands the huge benefits and advantages of compressing and breaking the face, although he can't compress to such a terrible level as Khalifa, but compressing to the size of a finger and using Shigen finger pistol can still be used. Oops. Gecko Moria's face changed greatly, and he felt a flash before his eyes. Enel, Shigan finger pistol had pierced his body, but he didn't let out any screams. Instead, there was a hint of insidiousness in his eyes. Obviously everything just now was just disguised by him. Thinking about it, he was able to escape with his life in the hands of Kaido, one of the 4 emperors. Even though his physical skills have become worse and worse over the years, his fruit ability is not. Will weaken. Looking down, the part of his body that was supposed to be pierced by Enel turned into a shadow. Apparently, he woke up a partial shadow substitute. At the same time, he did not know when a shadow mage appeared under his feet. He immediately bound Enel, and even more so. Although it is not very strong, it can touch the body of Enel after elementalization, so although the restraint time is very short, Enel is quickly freed, but the changes in the battle occur in 1 second, even in 1 second. In a time that doesn't take seconds. Let you taste Lao Tzu's most powerful attacking trick, the Shadow Horn Spear. Moria roared. His physical skills were getting worse and worse, but with Haki, who was neither strong nor weak, and the fruit ability was incomparably rich with him however, the combat experience of the player can make up for these deficiencies, and can often change the outcome of a battle. Shadowhorn Gun is definitely not to be underestimated. Not to mention, Gecko Moria can still use this move to penetrate the Son of Oz, which is even bigger than the giant, so Enel is fierce in the face of this attack. Doji is missing. That face, don't think that you are the only one who is perennial. The observation Haki cultivation base of this god is not comparable to you. The god of your attacks has long known, and the intentional trick is just to end this battle quickly. You the shadow and the main body are constantly changing and want to solve the problem with speed. You don't have to sacrifice anything, you can go in peace. It's just that Enel, who was caught, didn't have the slightest worry, but just like Gecko Moria, his face was full of conspiracy success. Let you see the strongest defense of this god, armament armor, iron block. Thunder shield. Enel shouted, but did not break free from Moria's shackles, but blocked the opponent's powerful penetrating shadow gun, only seeing that Enel's muscles, which are much stronger than the original, suddenly tensed, a layer of invisible armor covered his body, and at the same time, countless lightnings compressed and condensed in front of his chest to form a shield and directly collided with Gecko Moria's shadow gun. Now your shadow and body are here, I see where you are going, 100 million volts. Discharge. Enel freed his right hand and pressed it on Gecko Moria's body while resisting the shadow gun. Now the shadow and the main body is all there, and it is useless to convert him. Ah! The thick and terrifying thunderbolt all bombed Enel's body through his hands. In an instant, Gecko Moria was struck by the thunder and lightning, but it was a pity that it was not popular in One Piece, King of Pirates. Otherwise he is likely to become the first time traveling man in One Piece, King of Pirates to be struck by lightning into another dimension. 136 depressed Enel. HMPH, I thought this god was easy to bully, but you were really useless. You were originally strong, but your inner demons are too heavy, and you don't believe in your own strength and like to rely on external forces. It's really stupid. Enel looked down. Taking a look at his chest, he found that it was bleeding. Moria's strongest attack had obviously wounded Enel, but for Enel, these injuries were just minor injuries. Grass, this god is not the first god to deal with the enemy. Damn, that woman has already cleaned up the glasses man. Huh, the battle of Khalifa is about to end. Enel originally planned to deal with his opponent as quickly as possible at the cost of injury for injury, and then he would be able to be powerful, but he didn't expect that at the cost of injury, he would only be second to deal with his opponent, and Hancock not only faster than him, but also unscathed, and Hancock's strength against Don Quixote Doflamingo is much stronger than that of Moria he faced. Now the battle between Khalifa and Crocodile is about to end, and Khalifa is not only unscathed, even his clothes have not changed a bit, and there is not much dust. Compared to him, he seems to be the most embarrassing. Damn, it seems that the weakest opponent is my bat face, and the strongest is that big guy, Tyrant Bear Dizzy. Facing the weakest opponent, the god is actually injured, and it will definitely be beaten by that hateful opponent. The woman, Juliana, laughed. Enel, face was very ugly. He didn't expect that he would not lose money by stealing chickens, and even at this time he had already thought of Juliana's mocking face, which made him not nearly fainted past. Crocodile, it seems that the battle is over. Khalifa's eyes flickered with golden light, and two lasers suddenly shot at Crocodile. Is this woman a robot? How can she shoot lasers in her eyes like a bear? Crocodile knew the operation might be a failure when he heard the screams of Gecko Moria and Don Quixote da Flamingo. The action of bringing together all the forces of Chiwume will also fail, and the target is still a new pirate group. Even he can already imagine that the happy pirates will become famous after today, and they are still stepping on it. Their bodies serve as stepping stones to fame. Damn, I'm a sand crocodile. I'm a powerhouse for a while. I didn't expect that I would become the nourishment for a group of little devils. Crocodile's eyes flashed terrifyingly. It can be dangerous to get distracted while fighting, especially if you don't have the upper hand. Are you distracted? Then you can die. Khalifa immediately seized this golden opportunity. With Crocodile's strength, even if his physical skills are poor, he has hockey, but with the desert as a home game, if he wants to compete with it would take a long time before Khalifa got into a fight, but he was distracted at such a time. Damn, Crocodile is worthy of being Chiwume. He knew it was not good at the moment he was distracted. He bit the tip of his tongue. The pain on the tip of his tongue immediately pulled his spirit back, but unfortunately the enemy he faced was not power type, but so he was a step too late. Khalifa came behind him instantly with the speed of light. I want to become elemental. It's too late, the light of judgment. The power of this move can only be regarded as medium and low in all Kalifag, but he is an indispensable ability when facing the fruit of Logia, because of its effect. It is the ability who can directly attack the elementalization and amp, but it will not seal the ability of the other party. The fly in the ointment is that the power is not strong enough, but directly hitting Crocodile, a person with poor physical skills and a weak body can also play a certain role. The most important thing is that the power bursting out by the speed and the high temperature in the light of judgment all hit Crocodile's body to cause continuous damage and affect his combat effectiveness. Damn, I'm not reconciled. Do I have to lose twice in a row to this trick? Crocodile roared. His eyes were full of bright red bloodshots. When Lu Chengkong and others faced him when they were young, the biggest reason for defeating Kuro Keta is because of Khalifa's ability, Crocodile's underestimation of the enemy, and clever cooperation, plus Kaku's water-throwing action at the end, and Crocodile did not expect that he would be seen by a group of little devils who met for the first time. There are reasons for failure, but chief among them is Khalifa's light of judgment. Hey, just to be safe, let's have another one, the binding of light. Khalifa saw Kuro Keta. He looked a little crazy and immediately used little attack power, but it was the ability of an elemental nemesis, the binding of light, which was Crocodile, which is enveloped by the aperture, cannot be elementalized unless the aperture on his body is freed. Damn, it's this trick again. Crocodile roared with palpitations on his face. This trick played a decisive role in the outcome. He didn't want to be a loser who lost to the same trick twice in a row. HMPH, even if the restraint of light can restrain you for a second, you can die. Tear of light. Khalifa shouted coquettishly. A palm-sized light ball appeared in the center of the jade palm. The moment the light ball was formed, a laser shaped like a lightsaber shot out from Khalifa's jade hand. Ah! Crocodile only screamed and was drowned in the golden lightsaber-shaped laser, not knowing if he was alive or dead. If it wasn't for my husband saying that leaving your life would have a role in the future, I would have killed you long ago. Khalifa muttered to himself as he looked at the radiant desert in front of him, leaving Crocodile's life to make a bigger difference. Everyone can guess what it is, this kind of opponent that is outdated to Lu Chengkong, no matter how much intrigue and tricks, can't make a big wave, and Lu Chengkong, who is familiar with the history of the original book, knows the future of Crocodile very well. He came back and took care of Alabasta and Vivi when they needed it the most. This will not only gain the heart of a princess and beauty, but also directly control a kingdom as a backup resource. From the bodies of Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Whitebeard and others, Lu Qingkong found that his pirate group must be strong and long-lasting. There must be enough backup resources to support his profligacy, and Alabasta has obviously become a target of Lu Qingkong, but this is not the time to start. After all, it is easy to control a kingdom, but it is difficult to control people's hearts. After all, it is the most difficult since ancient times. Control, the most change is the human heart. 137 bears purpose. The contemporary king of Alabasta is definitely a wise king. As the saying goes, accompanying the king is like accompanying a tiger, which fully shows that the heart of the lord of a country is even more changeable. It is impossible for him to serve himself wholeheartedly like Kaya's father Kapal. Night talk, so he thought of the Alabasta incident created by Crocodile in the original book. At that time, Vivi's father was framed, but his reputation in Alabasta had fallen to the lowest point, and he had no son and only a daughter, Princess Vivi. In the original work, Vivi's performance in the Battle of Alabasta has gathered unprecedented popularity. As long as he behaves properly in that battle and gets Vivi at that time, it will be easy to control the entire kingdom through Vivi, and it's not in vain to ask Alabasta to serve him. After all, Vivi is not an idiot. What he and others have to do is to be like Whitebeard, the head of the 4 emperors, and it is enough to be their peaceful patron. It is also because of this that Lu Qingkong deliberately let Khalifa leave Crocodile's life, otherwise Khalifa can completely kill him here after Crocodile was distracted just now. After all, Khalifa's strongest group attacks the sun and the strongest single. The body attacked the sun-drenched compressed condensed version of the Trial of Light, and it can be seen that Khalifa deliberately kept his hand. Your actions seem to have failed. Strangely, the battle between Khalifa, Hancock, Enel, and Juliana was fierce, but the tyrant Shang and Lu Qingkong did not start until this time. When Lu Qingkong saw that Enel and the others had defeated 3 Shichibukai and all came to him, Lu Qingkong looked at Tyrant Bear with a little doubt. Originally, I planned to unite with them to obliterate you, but now I changed my mind when you revealed my identity. It is just wishful thinking for the Revolutionary Army to overthrow the world government with its current strength. If there is no pirate as a restraint, the Revolutionary Army has long been destroyed by the terrifying world government, and now with the death of Roger, the arrest of the Golden Lion, and the aging of Whitebeard, the strength of the pirates has been continuously weakened. When the pirates are suppressed, it is time for the Revolutionary Army to perish. The tyrant Shang did not directly answer Lu Qingkong's question, but instead muttered to himself. The Revolutionary Army needs time to strengthen its strength, and constantly reduce the huge gap in strength caused by the gap between the two sides. The power of the pirates can undoubtedly play the greatest role, so the Revolutionary Army is not enough to face the powerful forces of the world government. Before the strength of self-protection, the strength of the pirates must not be weakened too much, but it should not be too strong, otherwise the pirates will be unable to control the pirates after the overthrow of the world government, am I right? The cadres of the Revolutionary Army. Lu Qingkong's eyes in a flash of light, it was clear what the Tyrant Bear was going to say. He was interested in the strength of his own pirate group. Yes, the older generation of Whitebeard and others will soon become the past. If there is no new successor, then the pirates will be completely suppressed. Then it will be the Revolutionary Army. Tragic, that's why the Tyrant Bear let the Straw Hat and others go. Although there is a reason for Luffy's father, Long, the more important thing is the potential of Luffy and the others. After all, people who do big things are cruel. Without that potential, even if he is the son of the dragon, Tyrant Shang will definitely kill. This is the reality of the world. It's the same reason that he didn't take action immediately, because Lu Qingkong and others not only have the potential far beyond the original Straw Hat pirates, but they are now full of wings. This kind of pirates is obviously the best way to contain the world government in the future. Therefore, even if Tyrant Shang has the strength to obliterate the happy pirates, he will not start. After all, the Revolutionary Army has existed for too short a time, and the background is too poor, and what is most needed is time. And now the Great Channel really has the courage to confront Marine head-on, and how many people can contain Marine? In the four emperors, except for Red Hair and Whitebeard, the other two are all people who want to replace Whitebeard's position, and they have no effect on the revolutionary army. As for Shichibukai, the tyrant bear is too lazy to take a look, although Shichibukai Don Quixote da Flamingo is the most powerful, but in front of the real powerhouses, what he does is nothing more than making small troubles. In the words of the Empress, he doesn't even have the courage to face the person who can only hide on the side and be afraid of death. What kind of climate can it be? Undoubtedly, he is now the enemy of Marine, and he cannot help Tyrant Shang secretly. At this moment, Lu Chengkong, who already has great strength, is the best candidate. The combination of many reasons is the reason why Tyrant Shang did not take action immediately. After all, the strength of the tyrant bear is absolutely not to be underestimated. Even in the big event in the original book, Shichibukai's strength can be ranked in the top 3. Needless to say, the first is Hancock, Admiral-level strength, Conqueror, observation hockey, armament, 3-color hockey plus powerful fruit ability. Even if there is a huge psychological shadow trouble, it is a well-deserved first person. The second is of course the world's strongest swordsman, the great swordsman Mahawk, and the third is the tyrant bear. After all, he lost all reason and was completely remodeled. He was able to defend Luffy's ship for 2 years by himself. In the original book he has never made a full effort, but Lu Chengkong never dared to underestimate his strength. He can become a core member of the Revolutionary Army, and he can enter the world government, and he is a friend and comrade in arms. Will be bad. Then if you didn't do it just now, in addition to looking at the strength and performance of the people in their boat, is it also a kind of show to me? Wait until they are over before you do it to me. Lu Chengkong Isho, to be honest the idea of the tyrant bear is a dispensable thing for Lu Chengkong. After all, the idea of the tyrant bear is right. The world government wants to get rid of them quickly, so even if the tyrant bear has this idea, Lu Chengkong, etc. people also have to fight against the world government. In this way, not only will it not cause any damage to the interests of Lu Chengkong and others, but it can also make a deal with the Revolutionary Army. Perhaps with the dual identities of Bartholomew Kuma in the Revolutionary Army and Marine, he can at some point be able to deal with Lu Chengkong and others. What help is there? So this transaction is worth carrying out, but before that, we still have to play a game. This is to test whether the two parties are qualified to cooperate. Although there is already a reward, I will not be relieved if I haven't personally tested it. Just now the battle is the test of Lu Chengkong's crew, and now it is the test of Lu Chengkong's captain. 138 contest. That's right. Bartholomew Kuma nodded and admitted without denying it. At the same time, he glanced at Khalifa and others who were standing not far from Lu Chengkong and others. Obviously, they all heard what Bartholomew Kuma said, so they didn't leave. Come over to give the venue to Lu Chengkong and the two of them, and at the same time protect the law for them, so that they can go on without any interference. Then come on, let me see how strong you can be, who is only under the eagle eye, or whether you are qualified to cooperate with me. Lu Chengkong Hockey said incomparably, yes, the other party wants to test himself whether you have the qualifications to become a partner, why don't you want to test whether the other party has this strength? But in his heart, he admired Bartholomew Kuma's calmness. At first, he deliberately provoked him so many times. Not only was he not angry, but he came up with such a good solution rationally. It was just this wisdom and calmness, plus in the original book, his decisive sacrifice, etc. are enough to make Lu Chengkong admire him. If this guy hadn't been a cadre of the Revolutionary Army early on, he would have wanted to pull him onto Enel's ship and become a member of his own pirate group, but regrets, but the battle must continue. Teleport. Bartholomew Kuma was not ambiguous. When he saw that everything was going on as he thought, he immediately shot decisively. With a bang, not only did his huge body not appear cumbersome, on the contrary, his speed was actually faster than in the original book. Rob Lucci and others used a much faster shave, and that bang was obviously one of Flesh Fruit's abilities. Bartholomew Kuma couldn't control his strength from a long distance, but if it was visible to the naked eye, he could still control it. Pressure cannon. Bartholomew Kuma came to Lu Chengkong's hand almost in the blink of an eye, not to mention that this speed alone was valued by all the members of the Happy Pirates. Shock wave. Then let's have a comparison. Lu Chengkong used observation hockey early in the morning, so he was prepared early in the morning. The moment Bartholomew Kuma moved, he turned around and merged his fists up and down. Together, they collided directly with Tyrant Bear's pressure cannon. Six Kings Spear. Lu Chengkong roared loudly, and the powerful impact beyond the platoon shell continued to burst out from Lu Chengkong's double fists, as if it had the support of infinite energy. And Bartholomew Kuma's pressure cannon formed a close hold. Boom! At the end, the impact of the two sides reached a peak and the rebound force pushed both of them out. Bartholomew Kuma used his fleshy palm to slap a few times in the midair that was pushed out, sending all the atmosphere to the air. It hit the bottom and bounced back to stop the body in midair, and then safely resolved the impact and landed without any damage. Lu Chengkong on the other side was even more direct, using the Kami-E directly to follow the impact force that bounced back, and the airflow change was very easy to dodge the bounce-back shockwave. The first round of the contest was evenly divided. Do your best. I know you have a transformation-like ability, use it. Although Bartholomew Kuma is still indifferent, his eyes are full of solemnity. He also knows the Rokushiki, 6 styles 6 King's Spear. After all, he can score in Marine. Of course, he knew very well about Rokushiki, and even he chose a few moves that were useful to him to learn, to complement his own shortcomings, so he also knew the power of the 6 King's Spear, but he did not expect Lu Chengkong to use it. The power of the 6 King guns that came out was so huge that it could be evenly matched with his own pressure guns. Fulfill your wish, the devil will change. Lu Chengkong did not refuse. After all, he would use this ability in the face of Bartholomew Kuma later. After all, Bartholomew Kuma's strength at this time is stronger than that of Don Quixote Doflamingo that Hancock took care of. It is much stronger, and Lu Chengkong's strength is obviously far less than Hancock's, so it is obviously very difficult to defeat Bartholomew Kuma, whose strength is unknown, without using demon transformation. Bang! A black airflow that cannot be seen by the naked eye, but is perceived by perception, surrounded Lu Chengkong, and suddenly vented out to the surrounding like a storm, and Lu Chengkong's appearance also began to undergo amazing changes. Originally peaceful, indifferent, all the aura disappeared, replaced by the most violent and violent aura. If Lu Chengkong, who did not use the demon transformation, was calm but gave people an unfathomable sea, then Lu Chengkong, who has used the devil transformation now, is simply caught in the sea of rage and anger, and the most terrifying eruption is hidden. The power of his makes those who face him powerless except for fear. It's so strong, the strength has increased so much. Bartholomew Kuma's eyes flickered, although he knew this ability from the Marine headquarters, but if he didn't experience it himself, he couldn't feel how much Lu Chengkong's strength improved, and if he went up once Bartholomew Kuma also watched Lu Chengkong use the demon transformation to fight Kuzan, he would definitely find that the demon transformation used by Lu Chengkong this time increased his strength by at least 1/3 compared to the first time he used it. It is a growth ability like the transformation of a Super Saiyan. Jia, experience it for yourself. At this time, Lu Chengkong was like the Sun Wukong after his transformation. He was cold and ruthless, but he was extremely violent when he went, full of a strong desire to fight, and the demon wings on his back were fanned, like the fired arrow disappeared in a flash without making any noise, and came to the back of Bartholomew Kuma strangely, and directly punched the simplest and most simple punch. Simplify the complexity. 100 split pressure cannon. Bartholomew Kuma was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Lu Chengkong's physical skills to be cultivated to such a terrifying height. He immediately used a pressure cannon that was stronger than the previous pressure cannon. Many times the pressure cannon was opened, and the surging shock wave like the sea water at high tide rippled out from Bartholomew Kuma's palm in circles. It's too slow, Lu Chengkong said in a mocking tone. The punch that was originally punched unexpectedly stopped in a way that violated the laws of physics. There was no physical discomfort, and the shock wave was about to come to his body. In a moment, he disappeared in the same place as before. Obviously, moon step, shaving, noise reduction, and the devil wings behind him are perfectly combined through the return of life. This is the real attack without dead ends. You can go to the place you want like a momentary movement, and there is no discomfort to the body. 139 Mirror versus Meat. It's so fast, does it improve in all aspects? Bartholomew Kuma was taken aback, and the powerful and precise instruments in his body immediately judged that Lu Chengkong's improvement was in all aspects, not a single improvement. On one hand, not only the speed and flexibility, but also the small-scale movement, etc. have improved so much that he couldn't react for a while. Rokushiki, 6 styles devil killing. Lu Chengkong roared wildly, his mental awareness was very low on his right arm. The cells, blood, bones, blood vessels, etc. all seemed to form an independent body of consciousness. The control forces were all in operation, and at the same time, a powerful force burst out and then fused all from Lu Chengkong's fist and passed it to Bartholomew Kuma's back. Not good. For the first time, Bartholomew Kuma's expression changed significantly. At this time, even if he wanted to use teleportation, it was too late. An impact force several times larger than that of his 100 rifle open-hand pressure cannon was like a circle of invisible ripples generally impacted his back. Bang! A huge rumbling sound suddenly came out, and what followed was that the huge body of Bartholomew Kuma was knocked out, just as this powerful shockwave was about to blast away the skin of Bartholomew Kuma's owner's incomparably powerful defense. Bartholomew Kuma actually patted his chest with his fleshy hands. Yin Healing Bomb. Bartholomew Kuma used this move at the last minute, which is his strongest recovery and strongest defense ability, so that all the damage that could hurt his body popped out, including the shock wave that came out of his back just now. It can be said that it is precisely because of the existence of this ability that Bartholomew Kuma is so terrible. After all, Bartholomew Kuma with this ability is regarded as an immortal existence to a certain extent. Can you pop the damage? You can pop it out if you kill a demon. How about 2? What about 3? Mirror clones. Lu Chengkong was a little surprised when he saw Bartholomew Kuma use this ability that can be said to be a bug. The effect is really not huge, but Lu Chengkong, who is a traverser, is very affectionate. These seemingly powerful abilities all have their bottom line or limitation. For example, Bartholomew Kuma, a yin healing bullet, he can pop the damage also has a degree. If it exceeds this degree, then he can't pop out the damage. You still have a keen sense of observation. You can see through my ability in an instant, but what if you see through it? The Rokushiki, 6 styles you just used should be your strongest attack. I'm not afraid to tell you, the bottom line is at least 3 to 4 times as powerful as your demon-slaying power just now, can you? Bartholomew Kuma was very surprised at the look of the man in front of him, but he didn't expect his ability to be seen through once, and it was found that Lu Chengkong seemed to be very familiar with him, not only in his fighting style but also in his style. Who told you that my most powerful ability is this? The 3 Lu Chengkong, who have exactly the same demon wings, said in unison. While speaking, the demon wings behind them immediately fanned, showing the same speed as before. Bartholomew Kuma, who has only suffered a loss, has long been prepared. Their shockwave. The terrifying impact of this move under the reaction of the atmosphere is simply terrifying, and the destructive power is so huge that even Lu Chengkong would not dare to try it with his own body. Oh, reversal mirror image. Lu Chengkong chuckled lightly. Not only did he not worry, but instead waved his hand completely absent. Lu Chengkong's fruit ability has obviously broken through again. He could only create 2 mirror images before, but now he can actually create 1. 3. This time it was none other than Bartholomew Kuma in front of him. Although the strength of the mirror clone I made is not as good as yours, it still has 30% of your strength, and is proficient in all your abilities, including how to crack this move. Lu Chengkong smiled strangely, heartbroken. As soon as he thought about it, he didn't need his control at all. The mirror image Bartholomew Kuma seemed to have his own wisdom and rushed directly to the block, which became more and more stingy, and patted it with the same fleshy palm as Bartholomew Kuma. It's miserable. Bartholomew Kuma instinctively felt the danger. The power of this trick is huge, but if it is destroyed in the manufacturing process, the power that will burst out of control in an instant will be implicated, and now this one has his ability. The mirror image of the fleshy fruit uses the ability to destroy the small air block that is about to be formed in his hand. Then even if he does not die and is seriously injured, it is inevitable. Damn, why didn't the guys in Marine headquarters say that he has this ability, and he can create clones of others? Not only has such a powerful combat power, but even has the ability of devil fruit. God, I finally understand why Marine headquarters people are so desperate to get rid of him. Bartholomew Kuma knows that he is miserable this time. Although the mirror image of Bartholomew Kuma's strength is not as good as him, but using teleportation, the speed is the same as his body, and he instantly came to him and slapped the small air in his palm. On the block, the same fruit ability, the mirror image of Bartholomew Kuma, who understands all the secrets of this trick, suddenly destroys the balance point inside the small air block. Bang! The huge shock wave whose power was so terrifying that words could not describe it was like a tsunami, centered on Bartholomew Kuma, raging in all directions, and the ground was forcibly pressed down, creating a huge deep space, and the nearby air was so heavy. At a level that is visible to the naked eye, once people enter this area, they will definitely be crushed into powder by the pressure of the atmosphere, and Bartholomew Kuma, who is at the most powerful center point, can be said to be more fortunate than for luck. There, don't you know that this attack has exceeded your bottom line? Lu Chengkong stood there and said with a schadenfreude laugh. The same two mirror images on the other two sides of Lu Chengkong also maintained the same smile. A going triangle surrounds Bartholomew Kuma, and waiting for Bartholomew Kuma will be a thunderclap once the pressure passes. Do you really think that the last time I fought with Kuzan was in vain? I have prepared a lot for this Shichibukai fight, and let you see the real horror of my state. Lu Chengkong thought to himself. At the same time, the incomparably dark eyes suddenly flashed a hint of coldness. He knew that although Bartholomew Kuma, who was attacked by his own attack this time, would be injured, he would definitely not be seriously injured and lose his combat effectiveness, so the decisive victory or defeat still depended on my own. 140 Demon Rokushiki comes out. Devil Rokushiki Shun. Lu Chengkong's eyes flashed, and after he had a demon transformation and the battle with Kuzan, he found that unless a simple Rokushiki reached the level of Garp, he would not come to the Admiral-level powerhouse who knew Rokushiki well. To say that Rokushiki and Rokushiki's enhanced versions are not very useful. Lu Chengkong wasn't bothered by this problem either. Later, when he saw Enel and Khalifa integrate the fruit power into Rokushiki, he had a flash of inspiration. In addition to improving his strength in all aspects after the transformation, his demon transformation included body, internal organs, and recovery. The strength and so on have increased many times, otherwise he would not have died after taking the big tricks that Kuzan did not use in the original work, so he thought of changing according to the devil color haki and Rokushiki, plus more and more. The deep control ability is getting stronger and stronger, and the life returns to control the upper and lower body as an auxiliary to combine the unique tricks that can only be used in this state. It cannot be used in normal state, because the requirements on all aspects of the body are too high, and only after entering the demon transformation can all aspects of the body improve in all aspects, and the terrible resilience can be used to help. Rokushiki is too much. Brush. It's so fast. What kind of ability is this? How can it be 5 times faster than the speed just now? The face of Boa Hancock, who had been the strongest in the field, changed, and Lu Chengkong suddenly used a faster speed than the previous use of the razor. The speed is too much faster, otherwise she would not have such a big change in her face. It seems that my husband's demon Rokushiki has come out, but his demon Rokushiki may have only developed 1 or 2 styles at present, and he can't be familiar with it yet. Now he just wants Bartholomew Kuma, a free meat shield, to help him familiarize himself with the newly developed one. Demon Rokushiki. Khalifa's eyes shifted, and he immediately understood what ability Lu Chengkong was using now. You mean the demon Rokushiki that my husband said before? Can his body be used now? Boa Hancock said a little worriedly. She also knew about the demon Rokushiki, but she was more fond of the demon Rokushiki. How much damage is done to the body. Didn't you see that your husband dares to use it after he has entered the demon transformation? It seems that it is still a bit reluctant to use it now. Khalifa was not less worried than Boa Hancock, but he was very affectionate. This is Lu Chengkong's transformation battle. She can't stop it no matter what, not to mention that Lu Chengkong now has an absolute advantage. Even if the devil Rokushiki Lu Chengkong is not used, he will win, and she has no need to do things that make Lu Chengkong unhappy. What's the matter? Bartholomew Kuma, who had already survived his own unique attack, suddenly felt a hairy feeling in his heart. At this time, he only felt that he had become an ordinary person in an instant, and at the same time, he was being attacked by someone who didn't know where he was hiding. As if the demon was staring at him, a feeling of extreme danger rose from his heart. Do you feel the danger? It's a pity, it's too late, the devil Rokushiki Zongkong. Lu Chengkong's voice suddenly came from the back of Bartholomew Kuma. Just when he knew it was bad, he was also horrified at Lu Chengkong's speed. When he had raised so much at one time, he felt a sharp pain suddenly coming from his back, as if he had been slashed by a powerful sword energy, and his whole body was smashed out. The healing bullet could not be ejected either. Obviously, the power of this attack had exceeded the limit that his yin healing bullet could achieve. Pucci, no, impossible, Bartholomew Kuma roared in disbelief. His face was no longer as calm as before. Some were just unbelievable and horrified. He couldn't believe Lu Chengkong's speed again. It has increased so much, and I can't believe that Lu Chengkong's attack power has also increased so much. This level of slash is almost comparable to Hawkeye's slash. Nothing is impossible, didn't I say it just now? The demon killing just now is not my strongest trick. Lu Chengkong's tone was no longer as violent as before, and the demon wings behind him did not know when to close it. It was out of the state of demon transformation and returned to the normal state, but if you look carefully, you can still find Lu Chengkong's feet, especially his right foot, which is constantly shaking. Obviously, he used two of the demon Rokushiki just now. One it is equivalent to Rokushiki, S shaved shun, and the other is equivalent to Renkyaku Tempest Kick, S Zongkong. Of course, the speed and destructive power are far from what Marine 60 can match. Not to mention that Lu Chengkong's Rokushiki, 6 styles devil killing can't hurt Bartholomew Kuma in the state of demon transformation, but now he just uses one of the attacking skills in the demon Rokushiki, Zongkong, and severely injured Bartholomew Kuma directly. Breaking through his terrifying skin defense and preventing his yin healing bullets from doing these damages. One is the profound meaning combined by Rokushiki, and the other is just one of the physical skills in the demon Rokushiki. The gap between the two is huge. Words can't describe it. If one day Lu Chengkong can use the demon Rokushiki to the extent of marine Rokushiki, and then develop a mystery combined with the demon Rokushiki, then the destructive power at that time is really unimaginable. Successful, but the physical requirements are too high. Even I can only use Shun and Zongkong 3 times, but it is still possible to use it as a trump card. Of course, when my demon Rokushiki is fully developed, even Admiral I can defeat it too. Lu Chengkong thought of the confident smile on his face. Why he was so confident, it was very simple. Although Lu Chengkong at this time is afraid that he is in a state of demon transformation to use the demon Rokushiki, 2 of them, Shun and Zongkong, are also very reluctant, and the requirements and damage to the body are very large, so they cannot be used for a long time, but every time they use it. It is also a test of the body, a kind of oppression on the body, which can force out the hidden potential of the body, and Khalifa, who has the fruit of light, does not have to worry about the damage to the body beyond repair. Therefore, although his demon Rokushiki caused a lot of damage to his body recovered after each use, and his body was stronger than before. Like a demon, as the number of uses increased, his strength increased. The greater the increase in strength after entering the demon transformation, and then coupled with Lu Qingkong's usual exercises, thunder and lightning exercises, etc., it is only a matter of time before reaching the admiral level. There, how is it, not dead yet? Lu Qingkong looked at Bartholomew Kuma, who had been kicked out for so long, and hadn't come back, so he couldn't help shouting to see if he was dead. After all, his own demon, Rokushiki Zonkong power is no joke.